Well, we are back, huh? We're back at the 9 Club, everybody. Today we got a special guest.
Very special.
Very special.
Two times special.
2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Mr. Spike Jonze is here.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm psyched to be in the 9 Club.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man,
It's good. I just explored all the set, nerded out, and saw the switch flip Manny. And I also noticed that you put, like, whoever the guest is, you put up special shit.
Oh,
right?
yeah, we always do.
Try to cater to him.
You try to cater to him, you know.
Got Rick Howard here right behind me.
Rick Howard, yep.
Gons.
The Gons.
Jackass in our girl video.
Yep. Mike Mo's explosion where you almost killed him on the fully flared.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Spike, don't forget the best work you've ever done that was kind of skipped by the Academy was the Hot Chocolate Tour.
Yeah.
That
was a good one.
That was a big one.
I don't know what the Academy, I don't know why they overlooked that.
Yeah, it was political, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Thanks for coming, dude.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Excited to be here.
Yeah.
I texted you the other day, and I was like, Chris, when do I get on the 9 Club?
I know. And I was like, who's this? Fucking Spike Jonze is hitting me up. This is crazy.
Yep.
But you watch the show? I mean, it's funny because...
I listen to it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly just, it's like I actually, like first time I've seen seen it on YouTube, but like mostly I just know Kelly's voice. I'm like, that's his face. Okay.
That's Andy Mack.
Andy Mack, yeah.
It's weird hearing that after all these years, like skating. You're like, oh yeah, I know your voice.
Yeah, now I just know your voice.
Yeah.
And your laugh, of course.
So, born and raised... Well, not raised. You moved around a lot, but in Maryland, right? You were born in Maryland?
No, I was born in New York. Right?
Oh, you were born in New York?
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta fire a researcher.
I know.
No, but yeah, we moved. And then my dad always lived in New York, so I'd go back and forth there. But then my mom moved around, so we lived in New Jersey and Philly and D.C., or right outside of D.C. in Bethesda, Maryland.
Oh, Bethesda. Wait, who was talking about that?
Bobby.
Was it Bobby Worrest? Yeah.
Oh, is he from there?
No, but you go skate there.
Right. So East Coast kid.
East Coast kid, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you started off BMXing, right?
Yeah.
You start off like taking photos or filming or both BMX?
Riding. Like when I was like 13, there's this BMX shop called Rockville BMX, and it was like the spot. And I started working there, and I got into I was like riding bikes, and but. I had a bunch of friends that skated, and actually, that's when I met Tremaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like the local legend. I can't actually listen to my own voice. This will drive me crazy.
No, you got it.
This is fucked up. Like, that's what I sound like? Oh, fuck. Right.
He's going to take off it's the second time. Christian didn't wear him either. Christian Hosoi.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't need that. I can hear you guys. That's better for me.
Spike, when you're on a Hollywood set.
Yes.
And you're watching the screen, you're watching the actors do their thing.
You got to have the
headphones.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't need to listen to myself. Actually, even, I can hear you guys talking. So you're like
that's fine.
3 feet away from me.
You met Jeff Tremaine.
Oh, yeah, I met Tremaine back then when I was like in, 13, 14, 15, 16. I basically like BMX'd and skated, and we go to like most of the ramps were skate ramps. And when I was 15, I started going on these tours with Haro, with this BMX company Haro, and Brian Blyther, Ron Wilkerson, Dave Norrie, these like.
Were you going on tour?
I was kind of sponsored. But I wouldn't ride in the shows, but I was sponsored. Like I'd go on tour and
were you tail
ride
whips?
and
flow or something?
Tail whips and flow. Yeah, actually, it was flow. Getting a free bike is insane. Your first free bike, that's crazy.
I'm sure, because of what they're like $300-400, right? It's expensive.
They call it factory sponsored back then.
Yeah, that's right, factory sponsor.
Yeah. So you're getting free bikes. You're going on these tours.
Yeah, in the summer, and like in high school, I started meeting Andy Jenkins. And Lou were running. Do you know Lou? Do you know who he is? He's anyway. He's around every now and then. He basically wrote. They worked at the BMX magazine Freestylin' when I was a teenager. But Lou also is an old friend of ours, and he wrote all the, like, whenever we needed like a slogan for a coffee mug or a hat or a tour name.
Oh,
we like, Lou, we need a like high fives up the I-5.
Okay,
Or
gotcha.
this one all hopped up on the brown stuff.
Right.
Megan emails Lou. It's like, we need a name for tour, and
wow.
and we trade him hats. We'll give him like girl and chocolate hats. He'll send us like 25 names of tours.
Give me his number. We need we need some ideas over here.
So Lou and Andy, I got to know them through in high school when I was writing on these going on these summer tours,
Right.
and through Rockville, and they had this magazine called Freestyling, which was like the coolest BMX magazine, and they were writers, and they wrote the magazine just from that point of view of being writers for other writers. And in my senior year, I started writing for them, right? And then like the day after final exams of high school, I moved out here and started working at the magazine with those guys.
Oh wow! Oh, so it was based in LA, and you were just friends with those dudes.
I got to know them, through the magazine and being a writer.
Oh wow!
And,
So you started off writing. You weren't even taking photos for them or filming or anything.
No, I started off as a writer. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I started off. Yeah, I was writing. I was a writer for the magazine. Then I started writing.
Writing. Right. Video came later.
Yeah. But I did have my mom gave me her Olympus, so I brought a camera out, and I was really into photography. And so I was always shooting photos, and when I got out here, I would just bring the camera, and I'd go riding with other dudes, and on the weekends, and start shooting photos and skating, and shooting photos of skaters.
Sick.
And sort of through just like bringing my camera around, being around other photographers, like it was almost like going to photo school, because you're around like the girl who shot all the photos for the magazine. Her name was Wendy Osborne, and she was a great photographer. And then there's do you know Otis Bartholomew?
Yeah. He still shoots. I think. Yeah.
He was shooting, a lot of the transfer guys, like him and Todd Swank, we knew them. And I moved out here when I was 17, so like around 18 I was shooting skating a lot more. Started sending my photos to Transworld. And getting photos in Transworld.
Oh, so they would start. Were they running them right away, or would they give you notes like, oh?
No, they were running them right away, because I was shooting. I mean, because at that point I'd already was like shooting photos, like, because I was shooting. The first time I shot Mark Gonzalez was for our magazine, for this magazine we had called Homeboy. It was like this sort of skate, BMX, music, almost like a large format newsprint color mag. We only did like 7 issues, and the publisher stopped printing it, so I was already shooting skating a lot, and so I sent a bunch of those photos.
So you had like the distribution for the magazine, or were you guys just kind of?
No, it was this company called Wizard Publications. This guy Bob Osborne, who was kind of like he and his whole thing. I mean, in a way, he had a big effect on us all, because he hired Andy Jenkins off of a thank you. Andy Jenkins had entered a drawing contest at the magazine.
Oh wow!
And written him a thank you note, and Bob Osborne liked the way he wrote the thank you note, and Andy Jenkins was an illustrator.
Yeah.
He called him up like a year later. He's like, hey, this is Bob Osborne, and everyone knew who Bob Osborne was. He was like this sort of mystical figure. He's like kind of made these magazines, and he was a real artist, and like so everything kind of had a feeling in his, where all the other magazines in the BMX world were like almost like trade publications or something, and this was like
standard issue.
Yeah, and these were like artistic, and the photography was beautiful, and it was written by written just in written by a writer, so it wasn't trying to explain anything to anybody.
Gotcha.
And but anyways, he called Andy. He's like, hey Andy, this is Bob Osborne, and he's like 20 in like college in Colorado. Andy's like, yeah, hi Bob Osborne.
Right.
And, how'd you get my number?
Yeah, and he's like, we're starting a new magazine. I wanted to see if you wanted to interview for a job as the editor of it. Wow. And they had the magazine BMX Action at the time, and then they were starting Freestyling.
Okay.
And Andy was like, well, I'm not a writer or an editor, I'm an illustrator. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I just like the way you wrote your letter, and I thought I liked the tone of the writing. And so he hired Andy off of that, and then they hired me off the same way, just basically just like, my things I'd sent them. And
crazy.
And so he kind of set the tone for like, you don't hire professionals, you hire people that
hire pen pals.
You hire pen pals, yeah. But I mean, I think I still work that way. I'll hire, it doesn't matter if somebody has like the most experience in the world or no experience, if they get it and they have the sensibility that I am, that makes me excited.
Yeah.
So like I think I always think about that, because I still feel like it's all those people that like I sort of grew up under. I feel like still like sort of just helped me create the way I work, the way I make movies now, the way I do things.
Well, I'll send you a thank you note after the show. Maybe that'll propel my career. I don't know.
This guy can't spell.
Thank you, DM.
But so you're working with it. But didn't you and Andy Jenkins? You started your own magazine though, right? You started.
We did, a couple years later, like
Dirt or something, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Me and Andy and Lou started a magazine called Dirt.
All BMX.
No, that was not BMX at all. That was more like what we were doing with the first magazine, Homeboy. It was like we were just starting to write. This was like when we were like probably around 20 now. This was like also a lot of, at the same time, like I was always doing many things at once. Like I'd be like shooting skate photos and starting to shoot all World's photos. Like when World first started, and they were in Torrance too, so we knew Rocco.
Okay.
He ran some ads in our magazine when he first started World.
Sick.
And so but we started that magazine Dirt at the same time. Like I was making like Rubbish Heap and Video Days and stuff like that, doing the ads at World. And
Rubbish Heap was like your first video that you did, right?
Yeah.
Did they just say, make this video?
Yeah, the company was so small at that point. The company was probably like 4 or 5 employees.
Oh wow.
And like the team was like really small too. Like, and it just as we were making that video, Rocco signed Jeremy and Ron and found those. They were like 17, and so it was starting to grow. But like at the beginning, it was like Jason, Mike Vallely, Jesse Martinez,
when it was all like SMA World Industries.
Yeah. And so that's I think I shot most of their first ads. And I remember there was one we were just like, we needed an ad. Rock was like, we need an ad, and we're at the office, and there's like a parking lot, the littlest gap. It was like a little, and so Jason did a 360 flip, and Mike Vallely did a half cab backside grab, and it was just a sequence, like a little half page. It was one of the first ads we ran.
Was it off of video clips?
No, sequence film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 35 millimeter.
How many rolls did it take?
I'd say they probably didn't take that many. They weren't that hard tricks.
The gap was small.
It was small, yeah. I mean, there's so much shit. It's like I'm talking. I think somebody was talking about it. Oh, I think Mark Johnson was talking about it when, like, 3 months feels like a year and a half. Like so much shit happens.
Sure.
So like so much, like I moved out here when I was 17, and just things are, we're meeting new people. We're meeting Sin, who was the guy that ran Airwalker. When I met Grant Britton at Trans World, and I started shooting for him, then I'm suddenly like, driving down to Oceanside and going to the Trans World office and showing Grant my photos, and and like. And Grant's like saying, oh, well, here's, this is, I've tried to use this lens or this angle or this, I started using a strobe, a flash, a slave unit for other flashes.
And
the
peanut.
Peanut, and like he's just, it was cool because like as a photographer, you pick up so much from other people. You pick, like whether it's like and Swank, it's like black and white sort of raw, or like Grant was the one who was like much more articulate about like the rules of photography and like, because you kind of, as a skater, you kind of intuitively know you want to show where they took off and where they landed, and you want to find the right angle. There's always an angle that makes the trick look correct. As it's like the trick looks proper, or like,
totally,
and the spot looks right. But Grant would like articulate it all, and he was like, "Oh, we're not going to run this photo because his hands cropped, and like,
it's like cut his fingers off, or
cut his fingers off, and like,
no way."
And he was really into composition, and so he'd talk about all that stuff in a way where like, I don't know, it was cool because like you'd meet all these different photographers, and they, everyone was super generous and would talk, except Dan Sturt. Dan Sturt was like, he was like the best of all of us. He was like by far like on another level.
Yeah.
But he was like notoriously secretive about all his stuff.
Still is.
Yeah. And I mean, he's amazing. He's like another level. And when I met Ty, actually, he reminded me of Sturt in a way, just because like he was like a one-man army, and Ty with all his equipment, and like actually, I mean, I'm jumping all over the place, but that was when Ty came to Girl, and we started doing Right, and I'd go out with them. It was like I was like, whoa, this is like Bondo and Signs and Sawzall.
This guy's getting shit done.
Yeah.
Trust me, I was thinking the same thing.
Like, whoa.
What the hell is this?
It was sick.
Crazy.
It was like, and I mean, it was like, it felt like sort of what we'd done, like, because like on the blind video, like we'd got hardware store lights and unscrewed some sockets in a mall and would light up a spot, but like that was like, he took it to a whole other level.
Seriously.
Yeah, when I saw him like sawing off shit on, like you go on like a Sunday night and saw off the knobs, so then we go back Monday night and like everyone would skate it.
I mean, he is just like one speed go.
That's cool. I just watched his new video, and it's so cool when like that he keeps finding guys that will go on his tempo and on his rhythm, and like those guys, you know, gave him everything. You know, he gave them the opportunity, and then they gave it back to him.
Sure. They're hungry, man.
Yeah. For sure. So how old were you when you did Rubbish Heap?
I was probably like 19.
Okay, so you'd only been here a couple years, and then all of a sudden you're doing Rubbish Heap. Yeah,
well, that happened. I mean,
how'd you pick up a video camera?
So like I was always trying to make things on video, with video, and like, but back then we'd edit all in camera, so you'd like, we didn't know how to edit.
Just go back and record over.
Yeah, so you'd be like, you'd have to have somebody stand there, and you're like, okay, 2 seconds from now, and you push the button, the tape would start going. And then they 1, 2, and then they start moving.
Right.
And so sometimes they'd be like standing there for a second, frozen, and did you do that?
I never really did that.
You always edited.
I just kept shooting, and then figured out later, like basically VCR to VCR.
Yeah.
I didn't you didn't do the VCR to VCR?
Not until we did Rubbish Heap. I think that was the first time. Because on Rubbish Heap, so what happened was we were skating one day, and we were skating, and I asked Rocco, I was like, "Are you going to do a video?" And he said, "Yeah, I want to, but I don't have time to do it." Because at the time it was like 4 people, so he was doing a lot of stuff himself. He was like going to the factory and doing the money stuff, doing the boards, doing the team, kind of the team manager, until Rodney sort of took that over. And it was a real startup, a real like small company. And he's like, he said he didn't have time, but if I wanted to do it, I could do it. And I was like, yeah, that'd be amazing. Okay. And he gave me the credit card. We're at the spot at the Redondo Pier. He's like, yeah, here, take the credit card and go buy some stuff.
No way.
Yeah.
Didn't even say like, don't spend too much.
No. There was nothing, like World had no rules. It was like crazy lawless. I mean, it was like, he was kind of like Willy Wonka, but the most mischievous, devious version.
They called his credit card company, like, yeah, my card got stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
After you bought the camera.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing, I was also thinking, we all had keys to the office too, which is kind of crazy. Like, who gives the skaters keys to the company?
Yeah, right. Keys to the castle.
We would, like, I remember one night, me and Nadas going out, and we went out, like, drinking all night, and then, like, after the bars closed, we wanted to steal bus bench posters.
Okay.
And so we got an Allen key and drilled out the center, so there's a
little hole.
Yeah, so you can unscrew it, and we stole all these guest posters, like Claudia Schiffer and
wow.
And then we went to went to World and went in at like 6 a.m. and just taped them all over the office. So like the entire all the halls and art department was all lined with them, and they looked amazing. Like Claudia Schiffer.
Wow.
But anything went there really. So anyways, he gave me the credit card, and I looked. And this was like obviously pre-internet, so I went to the newsstand and bought a magazine called Consumer Reports.
Okay.
And I like researched cameras and prices and the edit system, and went and bought the stuff.
How much did you spend? You think?
I bet a few $1,000s.
A few $1,000?
I bet like probably.
I mean, back then that's a decent amount of money.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
It'd be way more.
Were you nervous, like starting this video, or did you just? I mean, you're young, right? So you don't really care. Or, there had to be a little bit of pressure, right? I mean...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I was nervous, really.
No.
It was more like...
Excited?
I mean, part of it was like, I was always excited to do something new, learn something new, and it just felt natural, too. I was skating with Ron and Jeremy every day, and skated with Rodney every night. He would only skate at like 11, 12 at night, and I'd go over to his house. He lived with Rocco, and we'd go skating at the Safeway by his house, and... So it was kind of already natural, and I didn't know some of the guys that well. Like I said, I think I only filmed Jesse Martinez one day, and he was so cool, but like also like gnarly.
Stuff on the ramp.
Yeah, in Venice, right here.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that Roger's here because Roger like he's the encyclopedia.
He fills in the blanks sometimes. Yeah.
That wooden ramp though is sick.
Yeah. And he was rad. But yeah, so it kind of felt natural, and I also like. I don't know. I think like I kind of looked at it all like doing a new trick. You know what I mean? Like it was like trying to do something you couldn't do before. It's like I think I grew up thinking Evel Knievel was who you wanted to be. Like you like you like aim your motorcycle at like a 200-foot long fountain and just
go.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And so like I was always gravitated towards those kind of people, whether it was like Mark Gonzalez or Matt Hoffman or like people like that. That was like, and so I think, you know, in my way, like not like that I have ever rode a mega ramp like, you know, Matt Hoffman, but like in my way, I just like, I think that's how I looked at all of this stuff. It's like, oh, I'm going to make a video. Okay.
It's going to be good.
I'm going to steer this video camera at 50 miles an hour at this video. And
wow.
And like, yeah, so I mean, I think that it was all about, and I still feel that way. I still feel like I just want to try to do something I don't know how to do and put myself into a situation where I don't know if I can pull it off or not. And and even the movies are like the last movie we did with her, where like it's a relationship between a man and a voice, and like, can you make a romantic, can you make a story where two characters fall in love where you never see one of them?
Yeah.
And through that whole thing, I didn't know if it would work. It could have easily not worked.
And it could have flopped, right? It just,
could have just,
the
you wouldn't feel it.
You wouldn't feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
And like, in terms of working to me is like, do you feel it or not feel it?
Yeah.
And that's always the goal. And so like, I think I still kind of approach things like, I remember in the hot chocolate video, the interview that Mark Johnson says like, so he says something like where he's like, and Roger, maybe you can help me with this. He says something like, if it's not new, I don't even want to go out, or I don't want to skate. If it's not, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I basically said that pretty much. It's got to be new or else I don't want to do it.
And I feel like I relate to that in that like, I want to put myself in a situation that I don't know if this idea will work. It's an idea that I'm excited about, and I have this sort of little inkling that it could work. And back then, obviously, it wasn't like when I was 19, it wasn't like, I wasn't aware of thinking that. I was more just like doing it. Like, you know what I mean? When you're that age, you're not like analyzing anything. Like,
but I mean, still, it's like, you know, Rubbish Heap, her. It's like there's a lot of money riding on this this movie that you know, Spike's. It may not work, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah, but I really that is. I don't care. Like, it's the same to me.
Right.
It's the same to me. I don't want to lose somebody's money.
Well,
of course. Like, they're people that I respect, and but
but you must have read the script and be like, all right, I can do this.
Which one?
You wrote it, right?
Yeah, you kind of, I don't know, I'm sure it's the same way. There's days where you're like, this is going to be amazing, it's going to work, and other days you're like, this is never going to work. This is fucking crazy that anybody trusted me. I should give, like, I remember the day I watched the first cut of it, like, we finished shooting, so I'd been working on it for like a couple years at that point in terms of scripting and writing and, you know, shooting it and all that. And I watched the cut and I'm like, this was a terrible idea for a movie. Wow. This was we should probably stop editing and at least save the rest of the money and give them back the money and just close this office down. And because it just didn't feel like what I wanted it to feel like. And obviously that's always happens. It's called the assembly. It's like when everything just strung out, everything you shot is strung out, and it's usually like on some of the movies, on a movie I did called Adaptation was like 4 hours long, the first assembly.
Oh wow.
So it's like just like doesn't feel like anything. It feels like cardboard is what it feels like. Like there's no pacing, there's no like thing that sucks you in. You haven't put the music in. You need
sound isn't even there.
Yeah, but you have to shape it. You have to like go in. It's like this like raw blob of clay.
Right.
And then you have to. In our movies, we also edit for like a year. So like we like, you know, then you sculpt it with all this footage into the shape, and
it's crazy.
Wow.
But so anyways, there's days where it's not gonna work, but on every project, or not every project, sometimes you're just like, they come together and like, wow, that worked.
I have a relationship with Alexa, you know. Yeah, I ask her, I wake up, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. How are you? How's the weather? You know, what time is it? You know, how's the traffic?
And it's good. You guys are tight.
Does she ever ask you anything?
We're good. We're tight.
She gets you.
It's going good. You know? Yeah. It's kind of one-sided, but you know, you know, we play games together, you know. But so you do Rubbish Heap. That's a great video. And then what's it? It's
such a fun video. It's just like, it is a Rubbish Heap. It's just a pile of a pile of shit. Like we had like in the best way. Like I think we wanted, like we just put in like there's this.
They're just raw.
It's just raw, and there's like, you know, just things, we just put in things to make us laugh. Like Billy Waldman does like a layback grind we slowed down to like a minute and a half long. And like, just like, or like, what's the kid's name? Chris Branagh. Chris Branagh's, you know, me and Ron and Jeremy went up and stayed with them in Modesto for a weekend, film stuff. And then we made his brother eat a worm, and like, you know, then he vomits and the dog eats the vomit. And like, so it was kind of just like, the name is so apt for that. It was just like, let's make something that just like feels like this like world at that moment.
Yeah. But they liked it, right? It was well received down there at World and everything.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I watched it like 30 times when I got it.
okay, good.
Yeah, I love that video.
Okay, good. No, I'm not saying it was
Actually,
bad.
I own the name on the website.
You what?
I own rubbersheep.com.
Oh, sick. That's awesome. No, I'm not saying it's a bad video, but and also it's like my first video.
Yeah.
I got to learn how to do it, and I was like, it's awesome. But the aesthetic of it is so is funny when you're like, it's a great video.
Yeah, and you're like, wait a minute, it was rubbish.
It was rubbish.
It was a rubbish heap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of being received, like back then there was no reception. You know, like when we put out the blind video.
You guys didn't do a premiere?
I don't know. We definitely didn't do a premiere, and like, I don't remember even it coming out. I just remember like finishing it and getting the boxes printed and stuff like that. Like, and then the box. I remember wanting to feel like a bootleg video, so I called the guy who had at the dubbing place who had done the other done our first video. And I asked him if he had any boxes that were fucked up that were like seconds that he couldn't sell.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I have these ones that were supposed to be black, but the ink didn't stick to them and they're kind of gray. And so I was like, okay, cool, I got these stickers, and so I want to send you the stickers. And he sent me one as a sample, and it was this gray box, and I made the stickers with just I put
the blind video?
Yeah, the blind video,
Yeah.
and I took photos off the screen. I just color slides off the screen of some of the images, and then made this sticker with the 3 images on it at Kinko's and printed up, or maybe not Kinko's, but some printing place where you could do like a couple thousand of them, and then sent them to the guy. And the guy at the dubbing place he called me back after. He's like, I think we underbid this job because I didn't realize we had to peel like 6,000 stickers. Wow. This is not normally how we make the videos.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, I remember like that. I remember finishing it, making the sort of bootleg like covers, and then I remember like getting them. I was like, this is so cool. We have these, and just like holding it in your hand.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember anything. Like I don't remember like anything that came, like I don't remember anyone.
Yeah.
Maybe over the next year or so I'd run into people say, oh yeah, we saw that video.
Well, because that would be the only way that you would hear things.
Yeah.
Is just
you'd
by
be at a spot and
face to face.
Yeah.
Right. There wasn't an LA Times article
Wasn't
like
it
reviewing
No.
blind video.
But even in the magazines, they didn't write about skate videos.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like that kind of attention paid to skate
Right.
videos. They were just like.
But I mean, the blind video days. I mean, the most.
Yeah.
It's like the most famous video, like of all time, almost. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
and that definitely didn't happen probably for 5-10 years. Like,
How long did it take you to shoot blind video days?
maybe like 6 months.
Wow.
But not even
Crazy.
full time for sure.
That's crazy.
It'd be when I would say we did like 30 days of filming, maybe over the course of 6 months, something like that.
Was it just you? I mean, did you have other help filming it? Anybody?
I got some footage from other people.
Okay.
Like Jake had he had filmed with Guy and Rudy some.
Yeah.
So I can't remember who else had footage, but yeah, it was mostly I shot it. Yeah.
How was filming with like little Guy, like this little kid, right?
Guy was funny because he was like 13 or 14 at the time, but just the coolest. Like he didn't speak a lot,
right?
And he was just like, you kind of knew he knew he was watching everything and knew what was cool and what was lame, and he was like, you kind of wanted to like him to think you were cool.
Yeah.
We were like 19 and 20, like me and Jason, and we were like, but Guy was just cool. But obviously Mark was the coolest. We all just like loved Mark, and he had a huge. Out of everybody, I think he's up there with. And with the people that have influenced me the most in terms of the way he thinks and the way he lives his life, and he thinks really abstractly, and like all the music in that video, it was he suggested the Jackson 5 song for Guy.
Oh, really?
Like putting together like this is Guy, this young protege, and this is Michael Jackson when he was a kid, young protege, and like
interesting.
Obviously the Coltrane song is like a genius connection. Like that is the way Mark skates. He skates like jazz and
crazy,
improvisational but masterful.
Yeah.
And Mark just like, at that time, like skateboard videos were just punk rock music mostly, or the Powell videos with their thing.
Yeah.
Just, he made abstract connections always, and without any real rhyme or reason. There wasn't like, it was like, that doesn't make sense, but it totally makes sense.
Right.
What was the connection with the Milk song?
The Milk Song. Oh, that was Jeff Tremaine's band, and Andy and Lou, and I think they just recorded it. Like Andy and Lou and Jeff were in this band, and they'd recorded 4 songs, and so it was just
such a great song.
Yeah, I played it for Jason. Jason was into it, and so we used that.
What about Jordan Richter's? Did you go out and have to film him on the ramp and stuff? I mean, because it was a totally different. Like the video, it cuts to his part, and it's just this.
It was only a few days probably for his part too, but we went down to San Diego to the skate park. You probably know the name of it. It was like one of the only
Mike McGill's.
Yeah, Mike McGill's. That's right. Yeah, and the duck pond. Yeah. Damn, I'm so glad.
Roger's, I don't know. Roger's on point today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lean on you heavy.
We can do this.
Yeah, but yeah.
When you guys started shooting for video days, was Danny Way still on the team?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was on the team. For that.
This is like footage of him in Paris.
Yeah,
at the ponds.
He came. We had a Europe trip. We all went to Munster. That was a ridiculous trip because it was all the world guys and all the blind guys, and we rented a bunch of Mercedes-Benz cars, and and so we all.
That world credit card.
The world credit card. Like so. We went to the contest, and then we split off, and we went to film with me, Mark, Jason, and Danny, and Mark's girlfriend was with us. And somehow we ended up with a bunch of bags that weren't ours, like Ron Chapman's duffel bag and a couple other people's duffel bags. And so we kept having, we were like hauling them around and like going from going to Amsterdam and to Paris. And I remember when we had to switch cars. Danny's also 13 at the time. He's the 13-year-old kid from San Diego. And hates all the food we're eating, and also we don't have cash. None of us had cash, and we didn't have cash cards. So all we had was the company credit card.
Wow. Yeah,
so we could only
eat together.
We could only eat together and only eat at places to take credit cards. And Mark, of course, I know this really great restaurant, and like it would be some obscure place in like the north side of Paris. No, it would be like a really fancy place.
Oh, fancy!
Mark was really into fancy restaurants. And like we'd never.
Those Vision Days spoiled him.
Yeah, exactly. And we never, we had never eaten it. Me and Jason for sure were like, wow, this is amazing. What is this called? And until we're eating all this great food, and Danny hates it all, and Danny's like, fuck this, I'm going to fucking McDonald's, and so like. We're having this, like the little cash we have, we sort of piled it together, and we have to like take Danny to McDonald's after we go to the fancy restaurant. Wow. But I remember Danny, he just wasn't into it. He wasn't into, I think Mark gives everybody shit. Like Mark, depending on his mood, not now, but like back then when we were kids, he was just, you never knew when he was going to be. When he was going to push your buttons. He was really good at pushing your buttons.
Oh, he was pushing Danny Way's buttons.
He was pushing all our buttons, but like we could handle it a little more because we were like 19 and he was 13. And so Mark's just picking on this 13-year-old kid. Oh my God. But Danny is like, I mean, even at that age was like astoundingly amazing skateboarder. He also, I remember, he was the first person I saw ollie differently. Oh. Like he was like, he was the first person that snapped his ollies. He didn't scoop his ollies. Okay. And I remember on vert specifically, he popped his ollies. And it was the same thing. Actually, I remember when Paul Rodriguez and Jeremy Rogers got on Girl. They did kickflips different from everybody that I'd skated with. Did you ever notice that?
Right. They just go up.
Yeah, and the way it's like
their ankle and stuff like that.
Yeah, they flick their ankle, and the board. It's not an ollie and then a kickflip. It was one thing, and the board just comes up. And it was like I could tell that they learned to kickflip before they learned to ollie, or at the same time, as opposed to they had to relearn how to ollie with a kickflip in it. And I was like, remember like seeing different people like that come into skateboarding, and it's like, oh, skateboarding's now changed. Mm-hmm. And same with Danny, you could tell, okay, skateboarding changed. Now, once I've seen Danny Way skate, skateboarding's now going to be different.
Oh, okay.
And even at 13, you could tell.
Or maybe you're just around Mark Gonzalez's kickflip for too long.
Maybe.
You just saw something different, and you're like, wow.
No, but even like Jeremy Klein and Ron Chapman, like all that era of kickflips were
just the way they did
it. And even Mike Carroll, who had really crispy kickflips, he did them different than when you saw Paul Rodriguez do them.
Okay.
And I think it's different if you learn to ollie and then later you learn to kickflip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you could just see it in the way they kickflip. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I experienced it growing up. Like, like how the fuck do you flip this thing?
And could you see when you saw like Paul Rodriguez and that sort of generation of skaters?
It's like, damn, that looks so sick.
It looked like a different trick kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
Just really subtly.
Well, kickflips back then were like a lot slower, probably.
Yeah.
Like Mark Gonzalez did like slower kickflips, and Paul and everyone now, the newer generation's like flick really fast, catch it, hold on to it.
Yeah. I'm old. I don't know. I remember when kickflips were different.
I never thought about that. I mean, I grew up literally like I'm like the same age as Paul, so like that's the only kickflips that I knew.
Yeah,
was just to learn it like that.
It's also the evolution of boards too.
Yeah, they got thinner. Yeah, that's true.
So the blind video took, what'd you say, 6 months, 30 days of filming?
We were in
probably.
Germany though.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A couple of stories about that was like Danny. So Danny was over it like about a week into the trip. He was like, I want to go home. I'm over this. And I think that's kind of when he quit. Like it was.
Really?
Yeah, I think he didn't quit like in the airport when we put him on the plane, but
soon after
that.
Right.
And I just don't think it was the right fit. But
how did Dan get on blind? Because I heard a rumor that Chernansky made a bet with Rocco.
I don't know. To me, I don't think that would have happened because I don't think Mark would do anything unless he felt it. And I think Mark loved the way Danny skated. Yeah. Okay. And he was, I think. Yeah, Mark just gravitated toward, like Javante was on blind for a while too, and like he just gravitated towards skaters that he loved, and like Mark doesn't do anything for any other reason than it feels right to him. And so I think Danny got on just because Mark loved the way he skated, but there could have been other stories too. But I know like even if that happened, Mark wouldn't have put anybody on without.
Like made sense.
Yeah. Danny, I remember like so he's like we have all these other bags with us, and Danny wants to fly home from Paris.
Okay.
And so we're like, Danny, we take these bags and we'll check them in. All you have to do is when you get, put them on your cart when you get to the airport, somebody from World will pick you up and take all the bags.
Okay.
He's like, no, I'm not taking them. I want to take them. And he was like,
little brat. Huh? He was a 13-year-old brat.
Yeah. I say this with all due respect. He was 13 and he's like Danny Way, like 2-time skater of the year, amazing. And every time I've seen him also as a man, he's like a man.
Right.
So I say this, but Jason and him got in the biggest fight in the middle of the airport. He's like, just take the bags, don't be a baby. He's like, I'm not taking them. And like we're at this French airport, and we couldn't, and Danny wouldn't take the bags. We had to like find some way to ship them home.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was pretty sick to be able to like see Danny Way at that age skate and go to any spot, and he would just look natural, clean, powerful, and technical. But so yeah, the rest of that trip though was just like, we were really just following Mark. That whole video really is about just following him and his spirit, and like just trying to capture. And now looking back on it, I think I had a little bit of an intention, like as a filmmaker, but I would have never known it at the time. But like the Rubbish Heap was really trying to capture the world aesthetic, and like the blind video, I think I was trying to capture what it felt like to be around Mark and sort of randomness and magic and sort of mystery and unknown. And I remember like really wanting that video to be short, wanting to be as short as possible. Oh, wow. So it felt like
you want more.
Yeah, you barely got to see into the crack. But yeah, so we were just following him around Europe basically, and he's like, I know a spot, and he, and I remember we didn't have any cash, so that was like the big thing was we had no cash, just the company credit card, and we were in Paris, and there a guy like hit our mirror off or hit our tail light or something like that, wow. And we got out. Mark basically was like. It went from the guy yelling at Mark in French to Mark saying that like, well, we won't, you ruin our rental car and we're going to need to, now we're gonna have to pay for it. And we're not insured. And so you need to give us money or we'll call the police. And the guy ended up giving us like $500.
No way.
in French francs, yeah.
That's incredible.
And because he didn't want the cops called, but like somehow like Mark turned it in because okay, we got cash for another week now.
There you go. Yeah. Right. You're not worried about the car.
Yeah, no.
Like World's going to take care of that.
Yeah, World's going to take, maybe insurance. Yeah, we definitely. We've already driven the car through like a cornfield at like 80 miles an hour. Like,
I love it.
Where's that footage?
What's funny is we didn't film a lot of it.
Really?
We were just
fucking around.
Yeah, just like on the Autobahn, driving from Germany to Amsterdam.
In a Mercedes.
And next to a cornfield. And I was driving, I was like, I bet we could drive through that cornfield. And we drop in on the thing.
I killed everyone.
I know. That's a fucked up thing is when you think back as being an adult, like now, and you're like, the amount of times. Could have hit a tractor in the middle of that field.
That's true, right? You can't see where you're going almost.
It's like 10 feet above the thing. Yeah.
Is that kind of where you got the idea to do the whole car thing at the end of or the whole during the blind video days?
No, that was because also the other thing. So Mark just turned like Jason lived with Mark, and like he turned us onto like movies and music and all this all this stuff. And one of the movies he showed us was Harold and Maude. You ever see that movie? And it's funny because it's one of my favorite movies now. But Mark showed it to us when we were like, around that age, 19, 20, at his house one night. And at the end, he drives a car off the cliff. And so in our heads, that was Mark said, we got to buy this car and we'll drive it off the cliff at the end. And so in our heads, like in that movie, the cliff's like 400 feet tall and it was a big explosion. So that's what we were aiming for. It's like
you didn't really get that.
We didn't quite get that.
But it was still cool because like you said, like the video was short, but it had this kind of like little ongoing skit or whatever through it, which was kind of cool. It wasn't too long and drawn out. Like it was just boom, 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 boom. Then car's done. The videos, they're all dead. The credits are scrolling up.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I thought they were dead at first because I was a kid, and that was my first video I had ever watched.
And so what did you think?
I thought they were dead.
The whole team was dead?
I thought the whole team was dead.
But do you think they died in a car wreck?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you had the
my mom thought the same thing.
Oh,
I sent it to my mom. She was so sad.
She was sad.
They died?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just a little kid in Santa Monica, and it's my first video I ever watched.
How old were you?
Probably. Well, I was 15. I wasn't a little kid. I started skating when I was 15.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Gullible 15-year-old. I thought the dudes were dead. I didn't know.
It's on the TV, so it says
it's real.
Dead,
I believe it.
Yeah. I loved it though. And the song at the end was like it was all like slow and sad.
Yeah. Again, Mark found that from this. It's from the soundtrack of Paris, Texas.
Okay.
I think it's Ry Cooder, maybe.
Didn't like Sonic Youth see the video and like track you down or something?
Yeah.
To, like,
not only did they see
video?
it, but even better than that, Mark had gone to a Sonic Youth show at the Palladium up on Sunset, and afterwards, and Mark always had like shit, like he was like always like seeing, we'd be like across the street, and about 2 blocks away he'd be like, oh, there's Kevin Bacon, and he'd skate over and get Kevin Bacon to sign his shoe or something.
Oh wow.
Like that. Like he just said like all like, or he'd have zines in his, he'd just make a zine and get see Winona Ryder at the newsstand and get her to sign it. And, but also like see it. He just sees everything. The way he sees stuff. He has like, it's almost like he has 20 eyes because he's seeing stuff up close and far away, and it's all like his brain just works and is different than anybody else's brain. I know, but he was driving. He'd gone to the show and he's leaving, and he saw Sonic Youth in the back parking lot, and he drove over and he's like, "Hey guys, we just made this video," and like, "Okay, cool." He's like, later.
Just gave him blind video days. Yeah.
And then they watch it on the tour bus, and they were really into it. And so then I got a call. I live with Megan in Torrance.
Oh, okay.
And I got a call on the entry machine from Kim Gordon and about working on this video.
How'd she track you down?
I know, how random.
Through the magazine. I'm pretty sure it was through the magazine we did called Dirt. Was published by the same company that did Sassy. And she had a friend that was like had worked for Sassy at some point named Daisy, and I think it was through Daisy Von Firth.
So just weird, connections.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're tripping, you're like, dude, I'm about to make a music video now. Yeah, this is great.
I didn't direct it, which was probably better because I didn't know what. But I got to.
But they had the skating and everything.
I got to shoot all the
it.
skating in it. Yeah, and the director's named Tamara Davis. And,
gotcha.
So Tamara came and introduced me to Tamara, and who had done a bunch of their videos before. And had done lots of videos, like, in the late 80s, early 90s, like Sonic Youth videos and Eazy-E videos and all these videos. And so Tamara was really cool, though. Tamara, she said, yeah, come hang out with me as I make this video and just, tag along and be, come hang out as much as you want. And so I just basically went every day and go to her house in the morning, and she, we go location scouting. I just learned what all this stuff was. I learned what location scouting was. I learned what casting was. I learned what a production designer was. I learned, we got to use 16mm film cameras for the first time, and the DP's named Mike Spiller, taught me how to use this Canon Scopic that I shot the skating with, or this Arri SR3. It's like a bigger camera, and Jason and Guy were in it, and it's just we filmed all the skating one day, me and Jason and Guy, and then the band performing another day. And
did you just film it and then give it to the editor? And did you know what it was gonna?
No, because then Tamara said, Tamara at that point would sometimes edit the videos herself, and she's like, I don't have time to edit. Do you want to edit? And she'd rent the edit system, the same one, the 3/4 one we had at World, And so I knew how to use it, and she's like, I'll just deliver this to my, it'll be in my den at my house, and you just come over every day and edit.
No way.
And she was making a movie at the time, so she'd go off and prep. She was in pre-production on a film, and then at night she'd come back to her house, and I'd show her the edit. And she lived with Mike D they were together.
Oh, wow.
They were married, and so I was at their house. I was like suddenly
so random, right? You're just like in the den.
Yeah,
editing
in the den, just like editing
hey,
away.
Mike D.
Yeah, and Tamara was just like, yeah, she let me edit it. So every day I'd come home and she'd watch it and give me notes. And
okay. Because it was like the band was playing in like a living room, if I can remember correctly, and then like the skating was like black and white. So there was did you like have, or was that kind of, was that your idea, or was that
I
just
would think that was probably Tamara's idea, because Jason's character dies in it, and I think the black and white footage is supposed to be a memory.
Oh.
Jason was always so charismatic too. Like when we did the blind, like it's no coincidence that he became the actor he became and had the career he's had, because like when we did the blind video, you could just like, we were making skits all the time, and he was just so funny. You just you point the camera at him and he was hilarious, and like we used a couple of things in the video, but for everything, for those two things, there's probably like 30 other just hilarious things. And
real quick though, going back to the blind video, when he was just like, "There's a war outside of your window," like, was that just spontaneous, just whatever random?
Yeah, just pointing the camera at
what
him.
about Rudy saying like, well, "Pull over, there's a liquor right there, dude, to pull over," like, is that just, was that just everything?
I mean, I definitely nothing was scripted, and like the liquor was like, that was I think it was just in the footage, like, and as I'm going through editing, I'm like, I just love the way it sounded, and I was like, let's just put that on black, and that just sounds cool. There's a liquor over there.
Yeah, there's a liquor right there, dude, so pull over, it's a yellow sign. Yeah. I tell you, that's my first video I ever watched, man.
That's so sick.
Turned me into the guy I am today, Spike.
Yeah.
So
talk show host.
But yeah.
Talk show host.
Yeah, great. First music video, I mean, you edited it, you filmed the skating, and then were you did you were you like, "Oh, I want to do more of this. This is rad."
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I thought that, but it wasn't like a realistic thing. At that time, me and Andy and Lou were doing doing this magazine called Dirt, and I was still doing skate stuff and stuff at World. I think also we were fooling around with starting. It was right around when we were kind of talking about doing Big Brother, and so like that same time, which is also like a sick story. I'm sure it's been told a million times, but like the way Rocco did everything was in this sort of like just being a punk, like he had, it wasn't even one of our better ads. It was like kind of dumb ad. It was like a ball bearing in like a fake vagina, like a pocket pussy, it was called. I can't remember. It was, and I'm pretty
was it
sure.
a Shorty ad?
Am I confusing? Wasn't that what a World ad? There was definitely a fake vagina in this photo. Maybe there wasn't. You actually know what the ad was. My memory's terrible. Edit this part out. There was a photo. There was an ad that, for some reason, I think I'm mixing it up with the Shorties ad. But there was some ad that Trans World wouldn't run, and it was like some
graphic content, and they didn't
content, or maybe it was talking shit about somebody. Or I don't know what it was. And Rocco was like, "Fine, if you're not going to run it, we'll start our own magazine." Yeah. And so then he came back. He's like, "We're making our magazine, guys." Like, all right, cool.
Wow.
And we the first issue, obviously, I don't know if you remember, it was like this sort of, like Kareem Campbell was on the cover, and it was this small, like 5x7. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was Shiloh?
It was Shiloh, I think.
God, my memory's terrible.
Roger, dude.
I know.
Thanks.
It's like a shifty over like a hip, something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's right. I think it was. Yeah.
It's like quarter pipes.
Yeah. Exactly. So Shiloh, I have another story about Shiloh actually.
Oh, yeah.
So around that time, we were starting Big Brother and doing Dirt, and
you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, kind of like at that time we were just like, everyone was doing stuff, and we're all just doing stuff together and making stuff. And,
right.
Photography, music videos.
I know.
Videos.
Yeah, but the music video thing, I guess my point is like,
doing your own magazine.
Yeah, we weren't like, but like the music video thing, probably I didn't really get more. I did a couple more that year, but it probably took like maybe a year and a half to where I was actually really doing it.
What was the second music video that you did that was pretty like monumental?
Well, I did
Sonic Youth, and
I think the next one was Kim Gordon again called me. So now at this point now I've gotten to know Kim better, and she's so cool. And so she calls me again, and Kim Deal from the Breeders had asked her to do a video.
Oh.
And so she asked me if I wanted to do it with her, and so I co-directed that with her and shot it. And
oh wow!
It was for that song Cannonball.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song's yeah. It's also crazy because I've gotten to do videos for so many great songs, like so many like bands I love and songs I love.
No,
and
no,
like,
trust me, the list is insane.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
insane.
but it goes from like Weezer to like the Pharcyde and like you know just so many Puffy, Fat Boy Slim, you know, all this crazy shit.
And so like, but anyway, so this song Cannonball is like just like it's this iconic song, and we got to do the video for that, and so
and you're kind of learning just as
I'm
you
just
go.
Learning, just learning, like trying every job, learning, working with different cameramen, learning, or like I guess, or at time, or sometimes I would shoot it actually Kim wanted me to shoot that myself.
Oh wow!
I think just because she wanted me to operate the camera, and so I ended up, I DP'd that one.
Okay.
Well, with music videos specifically, it's like right around then, I started to understand. Like I understood. I don't know. I remember this something clicked where I just started to understand in the same way I had understand photography. I started understanding like lensing and editing and music, and like again like trying to get that feeling that I had in my head through this medium of filmmaking and editing and I think around then I started, after probably about a year and a half or so after that, after the Sonic Youth one, I started doing more and more, and then did this video for MC 900 Foot Jesus, this rapper.
I used to love them for some weird reason.
Yeah, he was this weird rapper from Texas, and I just like that video. Like I remember, like actually that video, like I made 2 treatments of, like, and I gave it to the woman that was I got signed by a production company also in that time, but like it was called Satellite Films, and it was part of this really big music video commercial company called Propaganda Films. But this was this more like little label. It was kind of under the stairs, and it was up in Hollywood. And this woman Danielle, she was my rep, and she was the one who signed me. And it's just so random how all this stuff happens. It's just crazy. Like this guy had seen some things I'd done. This guy named Steve Reese, and showed it to Danielle, and Danielle was like, "Oh, come, tell him to come meet me." I wrote 2 treatments, and one treatment was like really felt like a music video, and it was like kind of like he was in his image was on all these TV screens in an old TV shop. It was like dark and flickering TVs, and like felt like. It felt like what you'd think like a music video should be like, in terms of like stylized dramatic images. And then the other one I wrote almost just to entertain myself, and it was this story of him seeing an ad in a comic book for you can get a new brain for 99 cents, and so he puts himself in a box and ships himself to the place to get a new brain. And the whole story is follows this box as it goes on this adventure, and sometimes he's in the box and he's really tiny in the box. We built a giant oversized box, and sometimes he's all smushed in there. Yeah. And the box eventually, gets misplaced, and this kid it falls off a truck. A kid with a wagon puts it on there. The wagon gets let loose, goes down the hill. It's like kind of like this little story of what happens to the box. And I remember I was kind of too embarrassed to show it to Danielle. I thought it was goofy. Like it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like almost like made by like something you'd see in like the 6th grade. You know what I mean? Like the teacher would put it on as a little story of there's this like story of a little boat that gets carved and gets put in a river and goes down the river and ends up in the ocean. And so it was kind of like along that lines. And so I just felt it almost like was embarrassing, like a bad haircut you had when you were younger, like that kind of feeling.
And you had like a yearbook photo taken with the bad haircut. Yeah,
so that's what this treatment felt like. But then I ended up showing it to her, and she said, "This is much more you than this other one that you're trying to do what music videos do. This one's like, you should just don't hand that one and just hand this one." And I was like, "You think so?" And I remember that being a turning point where I just started like just writing treatments that were more my own sensibility, as opposed to trying to make things that were like music video, like here's a band performing and then here's them looking cool intercut or something like that. Right. And
what do you think the band will want?
Yeah, exactly. Or
that's what you would want.
Yeah, or what? Yeah, or even just like what music videos are. Music videos are supposed to be this, and I just started writing my own treatments and just like thinking like what would be fun to do, what I want to make. And then we did the Sabotage video, which was like just like making a skate video. Like that was like the four of us and a crew of maybe like 4 or 5 people of like a van full of props and our car and all our wigs, and we just drove around LA and stole all the locations. Just like it was just like a skate video, but
gun.
Guerrilla style, go out and
climb on roofs and it was
like skating, just go out and do it, right?
And so we made that video like that, and I don't know, and that like that was like when I was like just turned 24, and I was just starting to get more into. And our magazine went under. Dirt magazine went under.
Oh, it went under.
23, 24. That magazine went under. We started Girl. I started like really making music videos. Like I started understanding it, and like sort of like that became a full-time job.
Well, I'm sure people were calling too, right? I mean, all these music videos they were doing.
Especially after that Beastie Boys one. Yeah. That wasn't, I think, really people started calling, and like, which was so cool that like, I wasn't that experienced, but I was friends with them. I'd gotten to know them. I'd met them a few years earlier. I'd shot them for me and Andy and Lou, and interviewed them and shot them for Dirt. And they were just, they were like, I grew up with them. Like I didn't know them, but I knew them.
Yeah.
And, when they were doing Licensed to Ill, we were like 15-year-old and, skaters, and just had drank our first beer. And like, and then like when they did Paul's Boutique and they were living in LA, now we're living in LA. Yeah. And so anyways, I got to know them, and they were exactly who you'd want them to be. They were just, and I learned a lot from them too. They were like a big influence on me too, because they were just like, they did everything. They were like Rocco or Mark Gonzalez. They just did everything their way.
Right.
This is what we want to do. This is what feels right to us.
Okay.
And they weren't going to listen to a record label. They weren't going to listen to managers. They weren't going to listen to
much
MTV.
like a Nine Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like you guys don't. Yeah, it is. And actually, it's the exact same, because they. Instead of going and renting expensive studios, they just built a really inexpensive studio in Atwater. So they could take as long as they want on their record and not have any pressure.
Well, how long does it take to make a music video? I know it probably varies, but like...
If you plan it out, you can get it done pretty fast.
Yeah, that one took 2 days.
2 days? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
2 days of shooting, and it edited for a couple weeks.
How does this work? Are you writing and pitching these people ideas, or are people coming to you like, hey, we have this idea, we want to do this? Like, how does it work? Because
it all works really different. A lot of times, the normal way is you get a song. You're at the production company. We get a song from the label, and like, here's the new song by.
Like the Pharcyde.
Like
they came out with their album, and are you like, oh, let's do this video backwards?
And they already knew I loved the Pharcyde. I already had asked about the Pharcyde, and like I just shot the Pharcyde actually on their first record. I shot a bunch of photos of them at their first house down off Adams, and so I have all these amazing photos of them when they're like 19 years old and living in this house. And they did Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde, and so then when their next record came out, now I'm directing videos, and they know I want to do it. And so with that one, like. That was probably like a year after. Like now, I'm actually like that's my full-time job. Like, but like with that one, I went over. I had this very vague idea because there's this sample in it that's like reverse. There's a reverse sample.
Yeah.
And so I went over there. I'd asked my production company to make a tape of it in reverse to see what it would sound like, and it just sounded like gibberish, like zip. Right. And I went over and met them at the label at Delicious Vinyl, and I knew this guy Rick Ross that worked there, and not that Rick Ross, and the original Rick Ross. So. I went and met them, and I had met them before, and I think I even shot the photos of them again when they were recording Lab Cabin. They had this house in Silver Lake, and I went over and shot photos of them. And so anyways, I played them the tape. Like, here's my idea. I don't know exactly what we're gonna do with it, but I just want, before we go too far down the road, I want to know if this is an insane idea. I want you all to learn how to lip sync to this backwards version. And I put the tape on, and they were just listening to it, like and some kid Trey, I think he was like, yeah, we could do it, let's do it, yeah. And what do you think, everyone? And Fat Lip didn't have a verse on it, so he was like, yeah, cool.
Just whatever, like, I'll just be in the background. But
the other three of them had verses, and they were all like, yeah, we could do it. And so that, like that one, then I went and just basically wrote a very simple idea, and I just wanted to look like, shoot on 35 in wide angle lens, steady cam, and make it look like a rap video in terms of low wide angle lenses, and have them rapping into the camera, but have it all be in reverse.
I feel like it's like a hard video to film because you have to plan out these shots going backwards and the whole thing, and like how is that going to look going forward? And
you would trip over, because you're like, wait, so now they're walking backwards, and then if they fall down, then you kind of. But the thing is, the more we did it, because I did a day where I just took my mini DV camera and went over to Rick Ross's house and met them, and we shot in the street, just sort of practicing, so I think after there's probably a month of prep, so by the time I'm on set, my brain's been working backwards for the last month, and I already speak that language, and and so but then whenever the crew shows up, and I'm like, okay, so, and I'm already like speaking a language, they're like, okay, what?
Yeah, this is let me wrap my head around this. Right,
just have to like bend their brain backwards.
So you're filming a music video, and then you obviously have the song playing, right? So you have the song playing backwards, and there's did they do a good job?
What we did actually, which was to help them, is my producer Vince found this professor at UCLA who studied phonetics, and we asked him to transcribe these sounds.
Interesting.
So it might sound like, but he'd write, "Are you back now?" Or something like that. And so we go, "Are you back now?" And the lips would look like it would say, "Are you blah?"
Interesting.
And so we transcribed it to them, sent them the song with the vocals mixed really high above the track, so you could really hear the gibberish.
Gotcha.
And the transcribed lyrics, and then we had cue cards on the side that this guy from UCLA who had made them was like holding the cue cards and "Are you back now? Key, real, dot," and all this, like it made no sense now. But like so they're kind of we had a bunch of tricks like that to try to help them. And
crazy, dude.
Yeah, but all the idea, like a lot of times, sometimes they'd be people I knew, or something like with Weezer, I knew them because they were friends of some friends of mine, and they just got signed to Geffen. It was a big deal. And I didn't know Rivers, but I knew Brian, the guitarist, and Pat, the bassist, from just like friends around LA, and they were friends in bands.
Oh wow!
And so when they that was actually at the same time we were doing the Beastie Boys video. So this was like, it kind of all happened like in this 1 year, where like as I was saying, where we started Girl and all this stuff started happening.
Yeah.
And I remember Pat called me up, not Pat, Matt. Pat's the drummer. Okay, so Matt Sharp, the bassist, he called me up, and he's like, "Hey, will you want to do a video with us?" And Rivers doesn't like any of the video ideas we have, and he doesn't. Rivers was like really like wanted everything just like unpretentious, like like that cover, that album, the Blue album. It's like we're not, there's nothing cool about us. We're just four people in our clothes in front of this blue wall.
Gotcha.
And so they came over to our office, the production office, and I couldn't do a video. They wanted a video like that month, and I was already doing this I was doing the Beastie Boys video and a couple other things, and so I told them, I was like, so Rivers just wanted to ask me to come up with ideas, or like, and the label's like, we have this record's gonna be huge. They already knew it was gonna be big because it was so good. Like I got the advanced cassette of it, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. You just could feel that first album was like just contagious. And but anyway, so Rivers and the whole band came over, and the people from the label, and because they were just desperate to get the band to do a video so they could get it on MTV. And they didn't know who I was, or they didn't really care. They were just like, if this meeting helps convince Rivers to do a video, then
let's do it. Yeah,
let's do it. And Matt had spoken highly of me to Rivers, so Rivers. So they came over, and I was like, just make a video that feels like that cover, because they'd sent me the artwork, and like just simple, like just like make it. It doesn't have to be a lot. It just like if you know, just like get you guys performing in front of a blue wall,
right,
and performing and not performing, and kind of half performing and just not like taking it that seriously, and that's that, and River's like, but then what happens is this, you know, that's it. And he's like, maybe at the end, like a bunch of dogs can run through,
right?
And he's like, okay, and it's like, and then I didn't hear anything about it, and then a few weeks later they're like, they couldn't find any that Rivers wanted to do, and he's like, we'll just wait if you'll do that video, that idea you told us about.
Wow.
And I was like, what video idea?
You didn't even remember?
It wasn't a video. It was just some more like a mood,
like a thought.
It was like it wasn't like a thought out thing. It was more like a feeling from what the record cover gave me. And River's like, I just want to do that. I was like, okay, cool. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, how would you do? And then we made that video. And
was it inspired by Goodfellas? You know, the cabana shot? Yeah.
Is that the one where they go down the basement? They go down
in the basement. It's one single shot.
Yes, I'll just say yes.
Come on, sounds better. Because that was a great. I mean, the whole video is just one shot, weaving in and out, and and what was interesting too is like I remember that video. It's right side up, going through, and you could see the guy kind of going through the kind of like Goodfellas, right? And then it goes into the set, and the set's upside down.
Yeah,
and then the camera turns around.
Yeah, we had them hanging. We got those ankle things with the hook on them. You know what I'm talking about?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, we did.
For the very beginning?
For the beginning, yeah.
Really?
And so outside of the soundstage, we built this little hall with the things you could hang your ankles on.
Are you serious?
And the two guys are just hanging.
You had they were hanging upside down?
Yeah. Because I remember when I was a kid seeing those things and thinking they were so cool, and then we were trying to figure out how to do it. And I was like, just those things with the ankles.
I just find it interesting that like how these get made. You know, like if who's coming up with these ideas, like the dude running down the block on fire. What video was that? Wax or
Wax,
something?
Yeah, that one was actually similar in terms of I knew those guys. They were friends with Weezer, and they were like this. And I'd done a video for them, like a super low budget video off their first record.
Okay.
And I just knew them from around L.A. They were this group of friends, like Weezer, Wax. Actually, Johnny Knoxville he was friends with those guys, and there was these girls that had a house on Genesee, and they'd always have house parties. And so there was kind of like this, you know, like, I don't know, I was friends with those guys from there. And Joe Sib was the singer of Wax, and Joe, they'd made their second record was on Interscope, and I shot the cover for it. It was called 13. Andy Jenkins actually made this sculpture, this sort of briefcase out of metal that had number 13 in it. And we went up to like Hollywood or Sunset Boulevard and just shot it on the street, and that was the cover.
Oh, wow.
And so they turned their record into Interscope. Interscope said, "Oh, this isn't. You know, we're not going to release this."
Wow.
And they dropped them. So then the band decided just to release it on their own, and they released it independently. And then the song that we did the video for, California, got on K-Rock, and it was suddenly a huge hit on K-Rock. And Interscope called them back and said, "Hey, we want to buy this record."
Way.
And they bought it. They had to buy it from them again.
Wow.
And
Jimmy Iovine should have known.
They left this part out of the Defiant Ones, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, like a label that's that big, like, you know, shit like that probably happens all the time.
Yeah,
so anyways, they bought it again, and so Joe called me up and was like, "Hey, we're back on Interscope, and they want to do a video next week. We're leaving on tour on next Monday. On Sunday, can you do a video?" And I was like, yeah, I guess so. It's got to be simple, though. It's got to be really simple. And I was thinking about the song, and I was like, what if it was, but it's got to be really simple, just like maybe it's like one take, slow motion, a guy running down the street on fire. And he's like, that sounds cool.
That sounds good, right.
How did you think of that, though? How you just randomly pop up?
I don't know. It's probably over the course of like a couple minutes of talking about, like, if it's one take, if it's simple, and then a guy running down the street on fire.
It's going to be interesting, yeah.
Like sometimes it's just things that look cool are cool. It's like, I mean, the whole opening of Fully Flared is like the easiest, like, you're combining the three coolest things, like slow motion, explosions, and skateboarding. And it's like, you can't really go wrong.
Seriously.
But I mean, like, even that, the dude running down the street, that's probably like 30 seconds of him running down the street, which turns into a 3-minute video in slow motion. Right.
Yeah. And so, I think, I'm pretty sure the duration of what we used is 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
Yeah, 300 frames a second.
One more that I want to just touch on real quick, because my favorite, and I'm sure people ask you all the time, was the Christopher Walken video.
Yeah.
Of Fatboy Slim.
The song was A Weapon of Choice.
Weapon of Choice.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I mean, you got Christopher Walken. Did you know that he had like a dancing background?
I had known he could dance somehow. Maybe I saw him on Saturday Night Live or something.
Okay.
Like do some dance. And so like when I was thinking about it, I also love making dance videos. Like I just love filming dance.
Okay.
And like I did this Bjork video called It's So Quiet. That was the first one I did that was like getting to choreograph and dance. And then I just kept doing more. And so I did a Fatboy Slim video off his record before called For Praise You.
Praise You, the Torrance
Community Dance Group one. Yeah.
Right.
And so I wanted to do dance again, but I didn't want to do like lo-fi amateur dancing. I wanted to do like a real dance production thing, just like amazing dancing, and the song was awesome. And then I was like, who do I want to film dancing? And from like years earlier, I was like, remembered Christopher Walken on Saturday Night Live, and I was like, what about that? Would be amazing.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Norman Cook from Fatboy Slim. I was like, my idea is basically just filming Christopher Walken dancing. He's like, if he'll do it, that's amazing. And so I wrote up this treatment. The treatment was really simple, and it was kind of like my dad would always come my dad would come to town. He'd stay at one of those airports, hotels by the airport, those Marriotts.
Oh yeah.
And so I just imagine my dad at all these hotels, traveling around the country at the Marriott kind of hotels,
right.
and just sort of the mundane, sort of repetitive, numbing quality of that, and so that was sort of the idea, was like the fantasy that comes out of that, and also my dad kind of like, he was, I remember like watching Deer Hunter with my dad, so I had that connection with Christopher Walken and my dad, and then my dad also, when we were driving like on road trips, he would sing show tunes.
Oh, really?
And so it's like somehow it all just made sense.
Yeah.
I somehow got Christopher Walken's number, and got, we talked to his agent, and I pitched it to his agent, and I pitched it to his manager, and then they pitched it to him, and Chris got on the phone. He's like, "Can you do a good Christopher Walken imitation?"
No.
I thought you would be able to.
I know, but it's very, I've never even tried. That's, it's very like, well, Spike. Yes.
I can't.
What is this dance thing you want to do?
Hello.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Tell me more about it.
My brother can do it, and we could call him up and get him to do it.
Yeah? Okay.
So he basically was like, asking a lot of questions and kind of not sure about it. And then at a certain point, he just got quiet. And he's like, I'm 57 years old, and I don't know when I'm going to get to do this again. And I could tell he just loved dancing. Yeah. And nobody ever asked him to dance.
Wow.
And he grew up. He told me like he started in Broadway in the chorus line, basically dancing in these big, musical numbers in the 60s or whenever it was. And he came out and did it. And
it's crazy.
It's incredible.
So lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky that he did it.
I mean, that was such a good... When he goes out and rings the bell, right? Do you remember this video?
Yeah.
Okay. When he goes out and rings the bell, when he rings the bell and he comes back in, I've always wondered this, and he jumps on the baggage carousel thing, and he spins around. Is that him doing that?
That's him doing it, yeah.
Interesting. Because I know he's not jumping off the balcony, and I know you had some stunt doubles.
Yeah, we had some stunt. No, but he did spin that one.
He spun it around.
We got, because I'd fooled around with luggage carts a million times, so I knew what they were.
I
knew what they were possible.
Okay.
It was possible of them. And then we got one of those in the rehearsal studio and figured out that move, and then Chris rehearsed it. And he's also very agile.
Yeah, because I could just imagine like that could be a crazy fall. Man.
That's so funny. That's the shot you wanted to.
Another shot I want to know real quick too. I mean, I love this shit. We'll get back to skating, but when he comes and he's dancing through the hallway in the double mirrors.
The mirror, yeah.
Did you guys put those mirrors there?
Yeah, we built that.
You built that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just got mirrors, like hardware store mirrors for the closet doors.
Yeah.
And just made
because in my mind, I'm thinking like, why would they put two mirrors on both sides to make that?
We did it
people
in
would get
like
sick.
Upstairs. Yeah, there was like a big like conference room, and we just built like 100-foot section of mirrors in the conference room.
Raj, you got to watch some of these videos,
Seriously?
man. If you've never seen Spike's work, you should check it out. It's well good. It's well good.
I've seen Blind Video Days.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, Spike, I think I know why you're here, actually.
It's
You
time.
want to?
Here
It's
it comes.
time.
Here it
Right? You want to ask me to finally be in a movie?
It's
you know?
fine. Yeah, I've been waiting
I'm
for the
surprised
right
you
time.
don't make a
No.
movie or a music video for the Switch Flip manual.
Well,
I know that'd be a sick movie. It's all of Chris Roberts' life leading up to that moment.
it, right?
It's like the 8 Mile story with Chris
yeah.
Roberts, and like that's his battle.
We may need to put a
Battle
little
with-
spin on it. We may need to get creative because my story is not that great. It's pretty boring. Okay, so we go back to you're doing all these music videos and you guys are starting Girl. Mm-hmm. How did this conversation come about? Like you, Rick, Mike, Meg. How did this happen?
For one, the story of like me meeting Rick is funny because so like World Days, it was kind of clicky a little bit. Like,
could see that,
you know,
yeah.
like.
Skateboarding clicky? No way.
Yeah, exactly. And so we all like, we didn't hang out with the Plan B. The Plan B guys were like from San Diego and they were different, so if they were around, we were like, oh, there's the Plan B dudes. And
Okay.
we were cool. Everyone was cool, but it was like, we didn't skate with them. We didn't know them.
But you already knew Danny.
Yeah, I knew Danny, but it still, I didn't know him that well.
Yeah.
And, he was a lot younger. And so, I knew Rick from seeing him around the office.
Okay.
But like one time I come home and I live with Megan and, a blue Acura is out front. And I'm like, it's weird. That looks like Rick Howard's blue Acura.
No way.
And like lo and behold, Megan started dating Rick and
Yeah.
didn't tell me.
Wow. So you caught him almost.
Well,
Like,
they
you
weren't
didn't know.
hiding. They were hiding it, but at that day
Well,
they
because
decided
Megan
not
worked
to hide.
at World.
Office Romance.
Yeah, exactly. Office
Yeah,
Romance.
she worked- yeah.
She basically ran World. Like
Right.
her stories of World are so crazy. There was one day that one of the most amazing stories is Rocco came in one day and said, Megan, I don't like our employees. I want you to fire everyone today. Everyone. This is like when the company is not giant, so it's like maybe like
Wow.
15, 20 people.
Just
Everybody-
cleared house.
Cleared house. Everybody got fired. And Megan has, it's like, what? I don't want to do that. Rocco's like, you got to do it. And so Megan's like,
Just hard
starts
reset.
calling people in, like, will you come in? I have to talk to you. And then like by the third or fourth person, everyone starts
Everybody
knowing.
knew.
So like they come in and they're already crying and Megan's crying. And it's like, I'm so sorry. And like,
Jeez.
and then they like, Monday morning they start over and hired all the people.
Crazy.
But like Megan was, ran World or worked
Yeah.
at World and ran sales and was a big part of the company. But yeah, so I think she was keeping it secret that she was dating
a little
Rick.
off, yeah. Right.
And I was like, I was so surprised by it. I was like, what? Rick Howard? But he was so cool. He was like, I walked in my house and he was like sitting there watching TV and he basically ended up moving in with us from that day. He didn't bring anything except a backpack. He just lived out of a backpack.
Really?
His car, his backpack, and
way.
lived at our house. And then we became really close and started skating together every day. And
Wow.
Was it weird walking out of your bedroom and he's coming out of the bathroom? He's like,
Just smiling. Yeah.
yeah, he was. But he's obviously, as you know, just the best dude.
For sure.
We became, me and Megan and Rick became really close. And
Sick.
I didn't get to know Mikey as well until after we started Girl, really.
Okay.
Because Mikey, I guess he was still up north maybe at that time.
SF, yeah.
Yeah, so Girl was like probably a year after that, and World was changing. It was getting big, and it was it was just becoming a different thing.
Different, yeah.
And so it was just time, just like Rocco left and started his own thing, and
Right.
it was time for and it really but it did start with Rick. Rick was just like had a vision for what he wanted, the company he wanted to ride for, and what he wanted. Like Rick is all, makes all his decisions very heart-based, and he's like, this is who I want to skate with, and this is how I want our products to be, and I don't want to ever make anything that embarrasses the team, and make everything that just feels true to who we are, and, at this moment. And, so like, it really came, like, who skated for the company, the name of the company, it all came out of just Rick and what the vibe is he wanted. And, but I remember when he first started talking about it, he was talking about it. We were at this party. We were actually at a party at the Beastie Boys studio in Atwater, and he was talking about it was the first time he told me. He was like, "Oh, I think I'm starting a company," or he'd never. The other thing about Rick is he never say I. He'd always like we. I think we should start a company, and he was at that point trying to figure out how to even do that, and like going to like another, going to like Fausto or somebody that already has, and doing a label. And I was really, for some reason, adamant that it should just be totally independent. Yeah. And like, because if not, you're still like reporting to somebody else. Yeah. And we went and found the guys, and Mike D was a partner in X Large. You remember X Large? Oh, yeah. And so the X Large guys were there, and I was like, why don't we get them to distribute it? They already have the warehouse and in Glendale and the whole thing. And so we went and found them, and they were over in the other room, and we're like
at this party.
Made it all happen at a party.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're like, hey, you guys we were thinking of starting a skate company. It was me and Rick and Megan, and Mike wasn't there, but you guys want to distribute it? And they're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Wow.
And I mean, ultimately it was like not quite the right fit because they didn't sell to skate shop, so we kind of had to. Yeah. Megan really had to create a skate distribution company even inside Extra Large, but I think it was a good sort of stepping stone to then, like a year later, then we moved out on our own and got our own.
Crazy. Did you realize like what a shakeup that caused in the whole I mean, because he stole everybody, and then it was huge. It was a big deal.
I think we thought it was. I don't know, but I just know that I just remember like how funny we thought it would be to show up at the skate contest up in San Francisco with the shirts.
Yeah.
And I think, but it's funny because like that was a total Rocco move, and like when I remember talking to Rocco a couple years ago, and he was saying that's what I would have done. That's what I did do. Yeah. And so like because so how can I really be mad?
Fully Rocco move.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, didn't he make a company called Bitch or something like that? To make fun of you guys? Or not make fun of him, I guess. But
make fun of us. Yeah.
And then so you guys are like, oh, well, we'll do our first video, which was...
Goldfish. Yeah.
Now, at the time, you're doing this Beastie Boys video, too. Which came first? Which concept? Were you testing it out with Girl?
No, I think it was just at the same time. I had all these wigs. Me and Yauk and Mike D had gone wig shop. Me and Yauk got really into wigs. And like we got super into wigs and mustaches.
Mark Johnson.
I know, right?
Yeah. But we'd go as like Heshers. We'd go out like to Sunset Strip as Heshers, or go like a really fancy Beverly Hills club, but dressed as like professors with gray wigs and gray mustaches and tweed jackets with elbow patches, and everyone would be like, "Why are these professors doing that from UCLA like English literature classes?"
That's amazing.
Or so I would create all these different characters and just like roll in disguise places.
Gotcha.
And so I had all the, and so it was right like it's funny because it is like the exact same thing, the opening with Sheffy.
Yeah.
And but it was done like probably a week later. Like I shot the Sabotage video, and then we went up to San Francisco.
Did the Beastie Boys ever say like, Spike,
what are you doing,
dude? Like we just did this, and now you're just doing the same thing.
No. I mean, it was like also it's like we're all friends and it's like skateboarding, and
but some people could, I don't know. I don't know these Beastie Boys, but they could be a little.
They didn't care.
No, okay.
If anything, they were stoked on it.
Yeah,
like that's the way that they were. It was more like communal.
And you guys wrecked the car, didn't you? When it went over the jump,
What happened was, I forgot about this story. So we're shooting right by. Wallenberg, is that the name of it? The four?
Yeah, the big four.
Big four. Right on that hill, and we're doing this thing where we're trying to do a emergency brake slide. There's the driveways go down the hill. So an emergency brake slide, and then Sheffy would do a manual across the hood. Oh. And
while it was sliding,
sounds crazy.
Like slide into place and like block him, but then he'd ollie over it.
Oh, the car would stop.
The car would stop. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
We're going. Me and Rick together. The bad thing is Rick and I combined. Like like nobody's saying no. Like I'm like, let's light that on fire. He's like, let's light that on fire.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Let's jump the car. So like Rick and I together. It's like. Either we don't have a boss and like
two pyromaniacs.
Yeah. So like we're power sliding into these driveways, and we hit we hit one of the houses, like, and you know, the front that gets all smashed up.
Wow.
And just then the cop pulls up.
Ooh.
The guy is like, everyone give me your skateboards. And Sheffy's like, I'm not giving you my skateboard. He's like, give me your skateboard. And he takes Sheffy's board, and Sheffy's now really pissed.
Wow.
The cop puts all the boards in the back of the car. And he's like, okay, let me see your license. And we start taking out the license. But before we even do that, Sheffy just runs over, grabs his board, and skates off.
No way.
And the cop's like, doesn't know what to do. And the cop's like, wait here. And to me and Rick. And who else was there? Like, somebody was showing us around. Mesa was with us, but I don't know if he was with us at that moment. There was somebody else that was showing us around, because this guy got caught. It was whoever, like Rick and I got away. It was like, so he takes off, Sheffy takes off, this guy, the cop jumps in the car, chases Sheffy down the street.
Oh, wow.
And like full speed, and it looked like the video. Like Sheffy like bombs a hill, and then the car like skids around, like, and then we're like, let's get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
So we jump in the car, and we drive it back over to, we're staying in Chinatown. And we put the car, we're not, we don't even, before this, we're just like driving around, and then we get some food, and we don't know where Sheffy is. We don't know how we're going to find him. And
you guys aren't tripping that like maybe there's like a manhunt going on for you guys? Like,
no, we just go to the other side of town. We go to like a mission to eat or something.
Okay.
And so for some reason, and I'm so bummed I can't remember who this was, but the San Francisco skater that's showing us around, take us to different streets. He's like, oh, you want to jump your car? You got to go over to this, this street, or So he somehow gets caught. He like, I don't know why he didn't get in the car with us, or if he had another car. He's like, oh, maybe he was like, oh, I'm going to take off. He's like, goes to take off, and a couple of blocks later, now there's like 10 cops, and they catch him. Wow. And he's in the back of the car, cuffed for he's like a couple hours, and he hears all this shit. Like we're like he's like, be on the lookout for a white Mercury Sable, damage in the front end, skateboarders, da 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 da. No, and me and Rick are just having lunch, and the mission is like eating, and and then eventually this guy's like, I don't know those guys. I was just skating by, like, and so he after a couple hours got away. Meanwhile, Sheffy is like hiding, like laying under a car for like an hour until the cops go away, and finally, like, we regroup. Like the guy calls us.
He's got a goldfish with him.
Yeah. I wonder where the goldfish was. But so Sheffy and this mystery San Francisco skater who didn't rat us out find us, and they tell us that the car's wanted. They're looking out for the car, so we put the car in the parking lot at the hotel, and
this
we
was a rental
car, a white Mercury Sable. And I remember it was a white Mercury Sable because we were like, fuck, we got to film more tomorrow, and they're going to be looking. They might be looking for a white Mercury Sable with damage in the front end. So we're like, let's go trade it out. Let's see if they have a Ford Taurus, because it looked the exact same. So we got a white Ford Taurus for the second day with no damage in the front end, and then just kept driving around and jumping the car and whatever.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Man, I just knock on wood.
I love how you and Rick are just like at the cafe, just having a sandwich, maybe some coffee.
It was so funny. And then that night, because we didn't have the car, we were like, oh, we should shoot something else, and we shot the subway thing where he like his board goes into we went to the BART and shot that. And then
now it's it's the next video that they
Mouse,
do.
Right?
No,
I'm sorry. Mouse.
Yeah.
Kelly's favorite part.
Yeah. So Mouse is the next video that you guys do.
Well, we were doing chocolate videos too.
No, Paco was the next one then. No, was it?
Yeah.
And we were also at the same time making stuff all the time, because we do like trade show videos, and just like we'd always be filming something.
The matinee was rad.
Yeah.
Oh, the matinee.
Yeah. So we'd always be like making stuff, and Rick edited back then. We had a Media 100, and Rick's a good editor too.
Is he?
Yeah, I just want to get him back
into
it, because he's just got a good feel. He's just and also he was picking a lot of music back then.
Maybe I should ask him to edit the 9 Club.
Yeah, you should.
He's not doing
He's not busy.
He's not busy. But it was cool though, like when you did like Paco and stuff, like you guys went on location and you did the whole like that whole Western theme or whatever it was, and Now, are you cool. when you're doing these videos? Are you just pulling favors from people? Are you just like, hey, we're doing the skate video. We got no fucking money.
Yeah, definitely. All the crew is just the crew that now I've gotten to know from all the music videos, and
I think it's every skate video.
Do you remember Little Keenan, that skit?
Yeah.
The guy Gino that steps on him.
Okay.
That's like he was our key grip for forever. I still work with him, Gino Nix, and he was there. So I was like, yeah, Gino, will you do this? And he's like, he'd never acted before. The other thing about Gino that's amazing is he's the only person I know that can sleep standing up. Like
without any support?
Nope, no support. He puts his sunglasses on and just goes to sleep.
That is that's a great skill.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That could come in handy,
right? Well, it's especially
good balance.
He's on set all day. And
oh my god!
There's we're filming and 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He doesn't have to do anything, so he'll just stand there and sleep.
Take
and
a
then
nap.
we need to move that flag over, and he's like. Wakes up and moves the flag.
Waking me up from my nap. But
it's like deep meditation.
When you guys, when you do all these movies, do you use the same crews? Do you try to keep it tight, or does it?
We did, yeah. But definitely with our cameraman was Lance Accord.
Lance, right?
You met him. Remember he came to Boston? And shot with us.
It was amazing.
There was a bunch of KK Barrett's our production designer.
Okay.
My friend Eric Zembrunnen was edited everything. So
wow.
Actually I met Eric at Tamara's house. He was editing for Tamara in that first year that I was starting to make music videos. I went by Tamara's house after work, and they were just finishing editing. And since she worked at home, he was editing at her house, and she's like, "This is Eric. You guys should work together."
Sick.
And he had those Vans low tops with the stripe on them, and this was when those were actually rare shoes, mostly.
The 36s?
Yeah.
Yep.
But they were rare back then. Yeah. And so he had them on, I had them on, and I was like, he's cool.
Yeah, he's
His are dark green and mine were maroon. So anyways, that's how I met Eric, and we worked together.
So Paco, I mean, did you just kind of go out there and wing it?
I think we wrote a script.
You wrote a script?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't a very good script, but
Paco.
I mean, more just fun to see those guys act and have it
Was there anyone I'm not doing that?
I don't think so. I think everyone's down. It was everyone's so I mean, we also it's part of what makes Girl and Chocolate is nobody gets on the team unless everybody wants to hang out with them. So it's a very self-selected, good group of people.
And Mouse was the first video that I saw was the intro is just when he's on a bike and he's on this Mike's comes around the corner and you're like, what is this? What are you is this the skate video? And then it just, what was the meaning behind that mouse part? And
the opening?
Yeah. Is there a meaning behind that? I was always this is random mouse going skating around LA with Mike Carroll working at In-N-Out.
I don't know. I mean, there wasn't a meaning so much other than it was just a sweet little story, and it goes back to the kind of at that time. I think I've always been drawn back to those almost like a children's book story. It's this sort of simplicity of it's a mouse and his friend. He's got to drop his friend off at work, and he goes skates and he gets really mad because he can't land his tricks. But then the kid cheers him up and he lands some tricks, and then he goes and picks up his friend, but he's late.
Because he skate all day.
That's amazing.
It's that's as much as it's more a feeling than anything. Sure, There's not a real.
I mean, it was awesome. I love it.
What did it mean to you when you were a kid?
I mean, it was just. It kind of made me happy. You know what I mean? It gave you that feeling. That's what you wanted. But I mean, I didn't. I was a little kid. You kind of groomed my skating into happiness, and then it was involved with the best skateboarding and the most stylish skateboarding. So it was all these things hit me on the head as a kid. Whoa, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then the video comes up with skits, and it's a whole,
I think that the videos were an extension of what Rick wanted the company to feel like. And it's the video that I feel in a way it's maybe that captures it the most is the hot chocolate video. I felt at that point I wanted to actually just come out and say it. This is what skateboarding is to us.
Yeah.
And so in the sort of it's half skate video, half documentary.
Right.
But that to me represents, it's the most verbalized of us sort of saying what skateboarding is. And,
right.
And there's so many moments in the interviews. I remember when Gino talks about what skateboarding gave him, and he's he's kind of talking about how this happened, and it brought him right into this hotel room right now. And
Yeah,
I just love that video because it's and of course also anytime you interview Mark Johnson, he's the best interview, and he just articulates skateboarding.
For sure.
And so eloquently.
And that's probably a 2-hour interview, and how do you cut that down?
Yeah, exactly. That was the first day I met Mark, actually.
Was
he
it?
just got on chocolate, and me and Ty went down to Huntington to where he was living, or somewhere near there.
Yeah.
And that first time I met him, I interviewed him, and we did that because we did interviews. I don't know if you remember, we did interviews before and then after. And so and I was just like, who is this guy? This guy's amazing. Right. And I also didn't even really know his skateboarding that well because I wasn't like, by that point, it's like 2000.
You weren't a fan of the A-Team?
What's that?
You weren't a fan of the A-Team?
I didn't even know what the A-Team was. But like from like 93, 94, 95, obviously I know who like Muska was when he came around. Or like those people that were like just huge. Yeah. Jamie Thomas and Andrew Reynolds and like these people, but I wasn't following it. I wasn't living it like day to day, and like I didn't know anybody other than who was on our team. Yeah. So I didn't really know Mark until in his skating till we went on that tour, and he became one of my favorite skaters overnight. Like
sure, right?
Yeah, like we left on Monday. By Tuesday, he was one of my favorite skaters.
So then, we have there's so many videos that then right. You're doing the.
Well, that's when Ty came on. That was a big. Yeah. Like it sort of took our videos to a whole new level when Ty came on. I was talking about that earlier. It's like it was the first time I went out with Ty and he was bondoing and sawzalling and all that, and it's like and lighting, and bring the generator and the lights and it was like it's just like you could feel the energy he was introducing to the videos that.
But also too, like you guys had you did the slow motion in the beginning, right? The the boards flipping, and then the green boards, the invisible boards,
right,
and then the
Were you around for any of that stuff?
No,
that was before you were on.
I was never invited.
Oh, but you were on Girl at the time, or no?
Flo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm in the chocolate part.
But you didn't come to any of the.
No, well, like I said, I wasn't invited. I wasn't even invited to the fully flared explosions.
Oh shit! But you weren't on Lakai.
Yeah, you weren't on Lakai, dude.
I would have just chilled and watched.
You could have PA'd. Yeah,
I loved that shit. But it was cool though because there was all these different elements to that. And the slow motion. Spinning
the opening
the opening credits or opening intro or whatever.
You got even the random one like Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Right.
How did that
everybody's
happen?
biting my shit, man.
Everyone's biting my shit. How did that happen? That was like I think it might have been Mikey's idea for some reason. Maybe he'd just seen Owen in some movie. He's like, we got to get Owen Wilson in our video. And we're like, doing what? And he's like, I don't know. But and then I knew him a little bit. I'd met him and Wes Anderson when they did Bottle Rocket.
Oh, sick!
And so I kind of knew them a little bit, and I just asked him if he'd do it.
Somebody told me they saw him at like a supermarket, and he goes, they're like, "Oh, Girl Skateboards," and he just turned around and went, "Yeah, right."
Sick.
He's the best vibes. That guy is just like he's like that kind of guy. He's like Keenan, actually. Just you can't not be happy when you're around him.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Right. And that was cool too because Ty, like you said, Ty kind of stepped in and went with that video. I mean, it's a great iconic video, right, Kelly? I mean,
of course.
Jeez.
All the videos are.
Of course, Of course, I was the glue that held that video together.
For sure. What tricks did you have in it?
Nose grind the big long at the courthouse, but nose grind in 5-0, a bunch of tricks.
You had some good footage.
Footage, yeah.
And was this famous switch flip Manny? Was that Hot Chocolate?
Chocolate Tour.
I mean,
Chocolate
yeah,
Tour.
Chocolate Tour.
Do you watch any of the skating going on now, or is it like do you watch the girl guys skate mostly, or is it?
I got into like Jamie Foy through King of the Road and
sick.
The Vice.
Yeah. I started. And I moved back to New York a few years ago, and one of the things I did was I started our TV channel there. Yeah. And one of the first things that we were coming, it was like it started with three of us. It was pretty wild to start a TV channel. Wow. It just started with three of us, like, what is this thing going to be? And then we have a development team. Now it's 10, 12 people. And then we start making the shows. And like within 10 months, we go from 3 people to 300 people. And
wow.
It was
Vice already had like a pretty good web presence, though.
Yeah, we had a big production. Yeah. And I became part of the company back in like 2006 when it became a video company. And so we had, and a lot of things like Epically Later came from that. And but like the King of the Road, one of the first things when we were coming up with shows, like we should make a show at a King of the Road.
Yeah.
And it's like a no-brainer. It's like it's already a show. It's already like a adventure show.
The circus.
And isn't it like the best or like the most watched show on Vice? Do you know any of those?
I think it's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So like I'd get into, I learned who Jamie Foy was from that, and then watched his parts from that. So I'd like, so, there's people like I get excited about.
Well, you're not really on social media, are you? You don't have like
No.
an Instagram. You probably have a ghost, and you probably follow people, don't you?
I
You
have an Instagram, but I
Potato
don't
something,
have. I haven't put anything on it in like 4 years. I had one just for like 3 months, where I just put photos of my cinematographer Hoyte van Hoytema on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for what reason? Just because?
Because it's funny because I remember when Instagram started, the first person I heard about it was Mike Carroll. He was like, Instagram's sick. And it was like probably like 2008 or
Something
whatever it
like
was.
that, yeah.
And I was like, why do you want to post photos for everyone to see? Like it didn't make. It's like the opposite. Like I'd rather this kind of thing. I don't really like even. I like being private. I like talking with my friends, showing photos with my friends, and so it's like, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm also old. Like social media, I just don't understand. I don't understand why you want to show something to somebody you don't know.
Right. But it's the same thing though, making a music video or a
just show it to
movie.
the world.
It's like, you're making something
Yeah, but it's like the personal part of it.
personal,
Like,
right?
Well, a lot of people don't put their personal stuff.
That's
They just
true.
do like, oh, show my skateboard.
But I think,
who I
yeah,
represent,
I think
you know?
what he's saying though is like when he takes a photo of a palm tree, that's still personal to you, right? You took a photo of a palm.
Were
I
you
don't know.
there when the
man,
palm
like-
tree caught on fire?
Oh yeah,
How sick was that?
ran super, and it was funny. Right before it caught on fire, I had said like, "Oh, that palm tree's pretty dry." and
that.
Ty with it.
I
he was,
remember that.
Yeah, whatever. Like it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good, Roberts.
Yeah.
You know, like and
That
then.
palm tree's pretty dry. I can't believe you spotted it.
Oh, dude. Well, bro, you're like
the
we're
only
lighting
tree
off-
there.
Yeah,
It's the only tree there.
We're lighting off these. I knew it.
Yeah, that
I
was
knew it.
so cool.
And then you guys just took off.
Yeah,
Oh.
we took off.
We took off pretty quickly.
That was insane.
Somebody was like, grab the fire extinguishers, and they ran to the van, grabbed the fire extinguishers, turned around, took 2 steps, looked at it, turned back around, put
There's
the
like,
fire
there's no way I can
extinguishers
put
back
that
in the
out.
van.
Like, fuck that.
Who
Let it
was
burn.
that?
I do remember that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
And then I remember getting on the freeway and driving down the freeway and just like seeing this burning.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
What was that? Was that for Pretty Sweet? No.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
Sweet.
Pretty Sweet, yeah.
Okay. Well.
I remember also, the other thing was the size of the premiere. Like it was like night and day because we'd had a couple premieres for some like for like not for Goldfish but maybe for like one of the chocolate videos
Okay.
and for Mouse. Like we'd had a couple little ones, like
Right.
little screening rooms that were like hold 150 people or something like that. But that one was like 1,500 people at the Academy on Wilshire. It's like the fancy screening.
Yeah.
I was
Did you go to that?
I went to that one.
I was there too. Yeah.
How sick was that? That was the first time I'd ever been to a premiere, and it felt like a rock concert. Like, somebody's name would come up like, "Rah!" And
I got
like,
hit by a car that night.
you did where?
I was crossing the street to go to the premiere, and I got hit by a car, rolled up in the hood, and there was a girl that did all the finances for Girl.
Stacy?
Yes, Stacy.
Oh,
She
Stacy.
saw it
Hit you?
happen.
Oh.
She saw it happen. And dude, I was like, oh, I'm good.
That was a good premiere.
That was like a different. I mean, maybe that was what was happening in skateboarding at that point, but like, it was the first time we'd had a premiere like that.
Yeah.
And that was insane. And then the next one was even more insane, fully flared one.
That one was
Wasn't it
nuts.
UCLA or something?
At
Was that
UCLA
it?
at
Yeah.
Royce Hall, and that was
Right.
like 1,800 people.
Crazy.
And I remember my favorite thing because we'd kept the whole intro really quiet, so nobody had seen it. Nobody knew what it
We
was.
had the countdown going.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we had the
countdown
countdown
timer,
going.
yep.
And my favorite thing, that was like one of my favorite experiences I've had watching or feeling people watch something we made was watching that people watch the intro.
Oh.
Because it felt like I looked down the row and I remember seeing Mickey Reyes specifically. And he's like this grown man, and he had this look of like a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like this wonder on his eyes, and just like so like hypnotized, and like it was instantly a kid again.
Right.
And it was just that watching that people watch the intro was so exciting. And then obviously the whole video.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, it just felt like everyone, we were all kids again. Like, and like watching Mickey specifically, he was like, had this look of just being a child, like
Yeah.
in awe. And that was really exciting. And but that whole night, just watching Mark Johnson's part with everybody.
whole
And then of
thing.
course Guy's part when everybody is like, you could just feel everyone in the whole theater get emotional.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I remember
special.
being at that premiere and thinking to myself like, it's so sad that like people are going to watch this on their television sets.
Oh yeah,
you know, because it's this huge screen and the explosions and and
now they watch it on their phone.
Yeah. Now they watch it on the phone, but back then it was like the TVs. You know, it was like, oh, it's kind of sad. People are just going to watch this on their TV at home. Like this is how it should be watched.
Yeah,
you know,
it looked so good on that screen. Yeah,
and so, but that was a huge thing. The explosions and all that stuff, like that's a lot of money, dude. A lot of manpower, a lot of professionals.
It was, but at the same time, relative to a movie, we did it really small, and the way we were able to do it and afford it was this guy Marty Bresson, who was a special effects guy, and I remember. And I met him on Three Kings, on this movie called Three Kings that David
I was going to ask you about. Yeah, okay.
And he did all the special effects, and like, you know, I got shot and like explosions and all that kind of stuff was him. And there's a car flipped. I remember the big shot we had was like a car blows up and I'm supposed to run from the car and the car just misses me. And so that was Marty, and he like, you know, and literally his life is in your hands when he's got the button to that car, or he's got the button to blow up Mike Moe's stairs.
For sure.
If he pushes it too early, you're dead. Yeah. And so that Marty, but he was the best guy. He passed away about 4 or 5 years ago, but he was our guy. He would just come and do anything with us. And he was so down. He'd do all these huge movies for, you know, Steven Spielberg or Oliver Stone or whatever.
And he's putting all the explosions together. And
he'd come and just play with us. And so for that one, I mean, that was a complicated one because because we had to make all these molds, make the stairs that looked like real stairs and then paint them. But he turned me on to this thing called polycene, I think. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but basically it's a really brittle foam that when you blow it up, it looks like cement blowing up. And so it was right around the same time I thought of that, because I was like trying to figure out, I was doing Where the Wild Things Are at the same time, and I wanted them just to destroy shit, like all that, like rip trees out of the ground, hit each other, like just explosions, and the dirt cloud fight with all these explosions. And so it was at that same time, I think I decided sometimes I'll get into it, like sabotage thing. Like I'll get into a mode and like, what else can we blow up? And then we're working on the skate video, and like, let's blow up skate spots. And so like a lot of sometimes I'll just sort of like, my brain is already in the mode, and I'll steal from that and put it in a skate video.
I mean, I show it to people who don't skate, you know, and to, dude, check this out. This is incredible.
It is one of those rare things. Like a lot of times, like you'll shoot something and you'll have a good idea of it, and especially something like that where it's like it's really like 6 shots or something, and then we had a bunch of little shots in there. But 6 big moments or whatever it is, 8 big moments, I can't remember, but usually like 1 or 2 of them you're like, that didn't work that good, we gotta cut those out. Or, this one, every shot was amazing.
Everyone worked,
and even if they didn't land it,
I was going to say, like, Lucas,
because it's all in slow-mo.
Like Lucas bailed, and like,
and you don't get to see, and also it was on film, so you don't see it until you process it and transfer it, and you go down the color place we work at is right near here, called Company 3. Go there, and they put it up on the big screen, and you get to see it for the first time. And it was so exciting, just getting to watch it with no sound or anything, just like seeing the footage for the first time, and all the molecules of dirt and fire, and it was so fun. But also it's like talking about child, like that, looking at Mickey's face like in the premiere, that was Rick's face that whole weekend. Like he was just like this like childlike joy blowing shit up, like because like it's his dream. Like, he's like blowing shit up, like. And I remember when we watched the footage for the first time, same thing. Rick was just had that his big grin. Like,
shaking his head. Right. I mean, it sounds like you get as much excitement working on a skate video as working on these huge movies.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean,
definitely.
It's like Where the Wild Things Are. Like that, it was such a, like you're saying, like the dirt things with the dirt exploding. And
right.
Such a good movie, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. How come they didn't win any awards, dude? What was that going to get overlooked or something?
They didn't like it.
Why? But the costumes and the sets and I mean.
No, I mean, I think.
Come on, bro.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, sometimes you make something that is. I just like making stuff, and like you like some things resonate, some things don't resonate. Like some things you never think anyone will care about. Like Jackass, we made that. We made that just for fun. Like again, Tremaine I'd known since I was 12. Knoxville I knew in my early 20s from around LA.
Right.
They met on the set of that wax video where we lit where we lit him on fire.
Wow.
And And they were just two friends of mine, and then Knoxville started writing for Big Brother, and they put him in the videos.
Right.
And then out of that, Jeff had the idea of like, what if we made this into a TV show? And so I said, yeah, definitely. So the three of us, the idea was just like make this sort of the thing that felt like a skate video on TV every week. And if MTV was going to give us money to do that, and like we got to have an office and, just have all our friends there. And
crazy.
So like that thing we made, I thought we were going to make 8 episodes, 8 22-minute episodes, and that would be the end of it. And like, that was cool.
Yeah, that was easy. Yeah.
I really thought, but then like, the moment came out, you could feel that it was like there's something going on. Like there's people are really connecting to this, and within like 2 months, Knoxville was on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine, and it's like,
my God.
This is happening quick.
This
is like I'd never been part of anything.
Well, you guys already did like the Big Brother videos and like CKY.
I wasn't part of them, but they were all they basically it was like Bam and Ryan and everyone from CKY, and Jeff bringing everyone from Big Brother, and it was like. Yeah, it was like, now we're going to get a budget from MTV to do even dumber shit.
Dumb shit on big budget.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But, so you never know what's going to, what people are going to connect with or not. And but I just did, the last thing I did, I made this dance theater piece, this 40-minute dance narrative piece in New York.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, I wrote out the script, and it was about it was a relationship story. I'd written dialogue out, but they don't speak at all. It was all transposed into dance and movement. And we did it in this theater. I think it had like 400 people, and we did it for a week. And so I don't know how many people saw it, maybe 25.
Did you do it live on Jimmy Kimmel or something like that? Or?
We took a piece of it, and because I'd met him a year earlier, and he said, anytime you want to come play on my show, do anything you want to do. Yeah. And so I called him, and I said, we're doing this dance thing. What if we did made a little video on your stage? Wow. And I got an Alexa with anamorphic lens, and and made a little like live dance piece on his set with his lighting people, and but anyways, the play itself was like, I just was like curious if it was like something I didn't know if I knew how to do. Like, can I tell a real narrative, detailed narrative story without any dialogue, just through dance and movement? Yeah. And it was like a relationship that was sort of struggling to stay together, this couple that was sort of growing in different ways and growing apart. But they were sort of defined. It's like when they got together, they defined themselves in this way. And she played this role. She played the girl, and he played the man that took care of her. But that was when they were young, and now they were growing, and she was wanting to explore different parts of herself, and more powerful parts of herself, and more sexual parts of herself. And
what's this film rated?
It was a yeah. Oh, we didn't show them having sex.
Oh, well, there's no dialogue.
Yeah. But anyways, I made this really sort of experimental thing again, just to like, can I pull it off?
Yeah.
I have these feelings of this relationship, and here's the challenge, and it's like the sadness of a relationship that they love each other, but can they stay together? And can I pull it off? Can I actually communicate? Can I share the feeling I have writing it and conceiving it with the people watching it through this medium that I don't know anything about and I don't know how to do?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you really can do that, or it will be really cheesy. It could so easily have been super cheesy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. So I don't. My point being, like, 2,500 people saw that, and I don't know. Just that some people, I don't know. I guess the idea is I just keep making what I want to make, and people will see it or not see it. But you make this thing though, then 2,500 people see it. Isn't the idea though, like, if you make something, you want as many people to see it as possible? Were you okay with making something? Second, yeah, I do, of course.
Yeah.
But that's second to the first thing, which is I want to make something that I want to try to. I have a feeling inside me, and I want to try and get that out into something that exists. Yeah. And like making your dreams into concrete. Yeah. Like, you have these abstract dreams, and feelings, and you have a dream. It means so much to you and has so many feelings, and can you communicate? Can you take that and have actors, and the amazing thing is, I think this is something I always feel so fortunate about, is getting to collaborate with the people I get to collaborate with, whether it's on whether it's Rick and Ty and and everybody and the team. Like if you get Eric Costin, you're doing a Chaplin thing.
Yeah.
You get Eric Costin, who's like a master of this thing, this
For sure.
skateboard.
Yeah.
And so you can just, but like getting to collaborate with like these kind of artists, or like, Joaquin Phoenix, and he's going to take your script and he's going to imbue it with himself. And like, that's the magic thing, is you get to like have a dream and then work with all these other people to make this dream into something that exists in the world. And can I get to the end and still have the feeling I started with? That's first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
And then secondly, I want as many people to see it as possible. But that's okay if I don't know, some ideas aren't meant to be seen by everybody. Okay. Some ideas are like meant to be seen by one person.
Well, it's funny because like Joaquin Phoenix, when we were doing Pretty Sweet, you had like Joaquin Phoenix. He was just there.
Yeah, Joaquin grew up skating, so we were prepping her at the time.
Right.
And we were doing rehearsals at my office, and I was like, "Oh, we're going to film. We're going out to film. You want to come by?" And he loves skating, and so he came by and visited while we were shooting.
I thought it was amazing that Joaquin, he'd just be chilling with us, doing our thing, and like, I think we were driving from spot to spot, and he's like, "Hey, when do you guys like break for lunch?" And we're like, "No, we don't break. Like, we just keep going and just get the shit." And the next day, he showed up with like a huge box of burritos for everybody. And I thought that was just the coolest thing, that he's like,
he was worried about you guys. Like, they don't eat, but they're like killing themselves.
Just thought that, I mean, like, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're fine. Like, if people want to stop and go grab something real quick,
Right.
you know what I mean? But I just thought that was amazing.
He's a good man.
Right. And Jack Black with the whole thing. It was so funny,
So much
dude.
hilarious. I had the best clip from that day.
Oh, yeah?
It was like when I got hit in the shin.
Yeah.
And he's like, Roger. Next time you get hit in the shin like that, just take it in. Using your photography. So funny.
Those guys are amazing.
He's amazing, right? And I always trip out because like Will Arnett was in it too, and I always just tripped out how like they're professionals. You just
Will
feed
Arnett,
them
that was crazy.
a couple little lines.
You were there that day, right?
No, I missed that one.
Oh yeah, that day, I mean, he was like, Jack Black did it too, but like you give them like,
Just
okay, this is Eric Costin. This is like 5 things about him.
Right.
He freaks out if the spot's not right. He flies to China, and then if he can't land the trick, he breaks his board and goes home. Or like, and Will Arnett just taking it in.
Yeah.
And then he just spews it back out, and like, and then you film him ranting about Eric for 10 minutes, and then you move on to the next.
But it was just amazing to see these dudes just freestyle and just come up. I mean, I was looking at them like, wow, dude, like Jack Black is like pro.
Their brains are like they're like work 10 times faster than regular brains. Like the amount of shit they make up in like a split second.
Yeah. And I mean, Jack Black, he was even though he was extreme, I mean, he was just so believable too. Like he knew exactly what the hell was going on.
That was sick. Wait, wasn't it? Was he bet Mike Moe he couldn't land the trick? Is that who it was?
Oh, and he would get naked.
Yeah,
he got naked.
I couldn't believe he got naked.
And
He's like, Mike Moe, you land this next time, I'll get naked.
And there's like families in the park that day.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
And he's walking around like
I couldn't believe he was that committed.
And that whole group of cheerleaders that came through.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, there's Jack Black running around like.
Yeah.
That's
incredible.
He was committed. I think even he was surprised that Mike Moe landed it that next time.
And he put down the camera right away and just took off his.
Yeah.
He
That was insane.
Oh man. Let me ask you a question. Besides being Chuck, the skate shop guy on the chocolate tour, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you remembered.
Was that your acting debut?
I don't know. We were probably always fucking around doing stuff, but I can't remember. Yeah.
Going from Chuck. And then, the Three Kings movie.
Yeah.
Was the Three Kings like your first really
for sure. I'd never,
Were you apprehensive or when they asked you to do that? Or did you have to go out?
I auditioned.
No, you did.
I wasn't apprehensive as much as, again, like...
I mean, it's a big movie.
Yeah. I knew the director, David O. Russell.
Oh, okay.
So David, when he was writing the script, he said, there's this character that I keep... So I'm kind of basing his energy off of you. Okay. And I still don't exactly know what he meant by that because it's like a racist redneck character. It's like, and then like I remember he was working on script, and then a couple months later he's like, actually, I think it'd be. Can you act? Do you think you want to be in it?
No
and play
way.
this character? And I was like, I don't know if I can act, but. Yeah, why don't I read it with you and see it, and like we'll just like let me just we'll play with it.
Wow.
And so yeah, we just read it together, and he had a video camera, and I read it, and just fucked around and like did the character, and like just like made up this like guy. I was like, that's right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy, yeah, we're going out there, yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, you got Ice Cube, Clooney, like, I mean,
yeah,
it's a good.
I mean,
that's a
there was
big
times
movie.
I wasn't. Yeah, to be honest, there was definitely times on set I was nervous about it.
Right.
Like I was like anxious, like. This doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel right. I feel like I don't know what's
just weird being on the other side of the camera.
Yeah. You feel self-conscious. You feel like an asshole is what you feel
really?
like. Yeah, in front of the camera, like with a bunch of people. Like I think it, because I just had shot Being John Malkovich. We were editing Being John Malkovich as I went to Arizona. So I'd go to Arizona for like 3 or 4 days a week, do that, and come back and edit in LA. And but it gave me a much better sense of what it felt like to be an actor, and it made me much more empathetic to actors.
Okay.
And like, because you just feel like an idiot. You feel like you're like up there, you're doing whatever, like talking or there's something dialogue that's supposed to be funny, and it just doesn't. You're not funny, and like, or you're supposed to be crying or something. You just feel Yeah, like,
are you ever like thinking to yourself like, is this good? Like, am I doing okay?
Not
like,
is this. No, I wouldn't even thinking, is this good? I was like, this is bad.
Oh yeah,
this is bad. And I'm like, and they
like, I'm
and
getting
like,
fired.
David, are you sure?
Yeah.
I know. Actually, and that funny thing is when David auditioned a bunch of actors, like all kinds of, like Christian Bale supposedly auditioned for that role, and like before he was before he was famous.
Right.
But a lot of people, and then he went to the studio and said, no, I think I want to cast Spike, and they're like, you want to cast your friend who has never acted before in this movie, this $40 million movie? Yeah. And so I think, the studio wasn't that excited about the idea of it. And then I think once they started seeing it, they're like, they were okay with it.
You did a great job.
Yeah, I don't know.
Spike, let me ask you a question. How hard is it? Do you think if you had a role, for me,
you're hired.
No, I'm just wondering, like, because like you did Three Kings and you were thinking it was bad and everything, but like, how hard is it?
I think that the hard thing to do is not to be self-conscious. For me, I think it's hard. It's hard to act. It's really hard to act well, like what Joaquin Phoenix does, or James Gandolfini, or Meryl Streep, or Amy Adams. Like when you're working with somebody like that, they take your dialogue and they make it. It's the same words, but they make it sound 10 times better. They just make it real. They make the words not feel like they're written. They're just like thoughts and feelings coming out of the person trying to figure out what they're saying. And I don't know. I think that acting is. Like, I've done it, but I can't do it like they do it.
Right.
Like, that's like some other beast that they are. But I don't know. I think some people, I don't think, I don't think I have that.
Right.
I don't think I can do that, but I don't know. But then sometimes you cast somebody that's never acted before, and they're magic.
Well, like the kid from Where the Wild Things Are, right? He never acted
before. He was just special. You could just feel it. He was like... He was 9 years old at the time, and he was he just had a real sense of himself. He was a very deep kid. He had read a graphic novel of Siddhartha when he was like 7, and decided that he was going to become vegetarian and a Buddhist because he related to this belief system of Siddhartha. And like, he's just like really deep, and he's still vegetarian to this day. He's like 19.
Are you got anything brewing right now? Are you do we have any movies that you're working on? Or, I mean, do people just send you scripts? How does this work? I'm sure you must have somebody that reads scripts for you, right? And then they say, oh, this is pretty good, Spike. You should take a look at this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really... You mean in terms of movies?
Yeah.
I don't, like, I do a lot of other stuff, and then when I have an idea for a movie that I have to make, then I'll go make a movie.
So it's more, you more want to make a movie that you kind of come up with, rather than just somebody giving you, hey, here's a script and go make it.
Yeah. I'm not, because I'm not really...
You don't want to take somebody else's idea and then...
Yeah, I don't look at myself like as like a director in the movie business machine looking for my next project. I look at myself as somebody that I just like making things, and I like wherever that leads me, and whether it's a skate video or a documentary or a TV channel or a dance piece, or over the summer I helped create and design and produce Frank Ocean's tour. And so
sick.
We made this tour, went and did it at festivals, and we did like 10 shows this summer. And that was, and I love him. Again, it's like I just love. If there's an artist I love, the most exciting thing is getting to work with them, and become friends with them, and collaborate with them, and create something together. And so we made this really special tour. I felt really, it was festivals, and the idea was, can we make a festival feel intimate? And so I don't know, I won't tell the whole thing, it's on YouTube, but anyways, we made this did the tour. And so just sort of following whatever it excites me.
Man,
what?
Spike Jonze, this is amazing, dude. I mean, I could sit here for 20 hours with you and just, because it's so interesting to me, you know, the whole movie making. And I mean, like, her won like an Academy Award, right? A Golden Globe also or something. I mean, it must be nuts.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I mean, you had to get up on stage, right?
Yeah.
Read a thing. Did you thank me? Did you thank me when you were?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah. They cut the commercial.
Oh, they played you out.
They cut it out.
They played you out, and you didn't get up.
I was up there for a long time. The cards ran out, and I was just still talking about Chris Roberts.
It's 2003, Switch Flip Manny, but that must have been a crazy experience too. Because that film too, like you were saying, like you didn't think that it was even like a good film at first, right?
Well,
you didn't even, or that it was just not happening.
I mean, I had no expectations basically, other than can I pull this off in terms of. And like when I was writing the script, I wrote the script based on like, this is an idea I really want to write and to see if there's something there. And I was like, and if the script's bad, I just won't make it. I'll go make something else. Right. And like, so every step of the way is just like, you know, making what's in front of you. And that was definitely, it was surreal in terms of the amount of attention that movie got. Was really
huge. What do we? So you got some.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, wow. He's just ending the show right now.
Right. No. I'm just wondering. I mean, well, you said you got some other project going on right now. What? Anything in the work? Another big film or?
No, nothing.
No. New chocolate video.
You ready? You got the clips? What do you got?
No,
how many clips
have any
you got?
Clips, dude.
What?
I got 0.
I'm calling Mikey.
Call Mikey. Call Mikey, man. He's probably watching this show right now. You don't have to call him at all.
I have things I want to write. I have like ideas of things I like, because I'm always making notes. I'm always like writing down, like, and sometimes I have an idea for a movie and it's like, this is amazing, and I'll write down, and it'll be a paragraph, and then I'll realize like a year later I never wrote anything. I never added to it. I was like, okay, it's not good.
That good. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But other times, like, I'll have an idea and it'll be a paragraph, and then I'll keep adding to it, and then suddenly I'll look and the file will be like 50 pages long, and and I'm like, oh, this has something. And that's like, you know, the last few things I've done have all been like that. And like, where they start as like sort of embers, and then if I keep going back to it and keep having ideas and it grows, then it's sort of naturally something I want to write.
Is it hard to make a movie?
It is.
Is it? Well, I mean, I could imagine, because sometimes, you know, I mean, these movies nowadays, it's just like, I mean, as a director, do you like talk to somebody else and be like, I want to do this, but I don't know how we can do that.
Always. I think I'm always like, it goes back to actually like working at the BMX magazine or skate magazine or going to talk to Grant. I love talking to people about stuff and like talking to friends and figuring it out. I don't know. And if you're the same way, it's like, that's how I figure it out.
Well, no, I mean, like, how can, like, I want to do this effect and I want this to bleed and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, like, as a director?
Like on Where the Wild Things Are, like that was really complicated. And I kind of wrote it we wrote it, Dave Eggers and I wrote it together, but as we were writing it, I sort of wanted to be naive of how we were actually going to pull this off, how we were going to have these creatures do all these things.
Right.
And then once I got through, done writing, we started going into pre-production, like, okay, now how are we actually going to do this with this? You know, and I wanted to be all in locations and all with the real creatures, and no CG. But we were borrowing offices from David Fincher, who's like I've known forever, and he's the most generous, best dude. And whenever, like, so there's been a number of times where like we're working on a project, but it's not financed yet, so we don't have an office, and he has an office in Hollywood, and he'll let us. Actually, we're working out of it this week.
Oh, sick!
And so I was working on Where the Wild Things Are, And initially I wanted to have all the faces done in camera, like with animatronics and puppeteered faces. And he would just come by and look at what we're doing. He's like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Can't do that.
You do not want to have these 150-pound heads with animatronics in it. And you're going to be after the first day of shooting, you're going to be a month behind schedule.
Wow.
And he basically, there's a drawing, he's like, he drew, he's like, of a wild thing. He's like, suit, and pointed, and then the face was CG. He's like CG with an arrow and suit to the suit. And at first I was like, no, we got to do it in camera.
Yeah.
And then like, sure enough, like cut to 6 months later, we're in Australia and we're like ripping all the animatronics out of the faces.
Oh, really? Oh, so you actually started with animatronics?
We started going down that road. We didn't shoot, but we were in pre-production, and they couldn't move. It was everything Fincher said. Too heavy, da-da-da-da.
Wow.
And so we ripped it all out and just like, okay, yeah, he was right. We were going to the
so
face.
Did you have some type of green screen with dots? Or
no, better than that. We had the face finished, really beautifully furred, and and the eyes wet, the nose wet.
Okay.
And then they would basically they manipulated that in post. They'd create the 3D model that would map to that face and then manipulate that skin.
Wow.
So we'd use the skin, and I think then we'd put CG eyes in and maybe CG lips. And maybe patched the fur. Sometimes if you it's like in Photoshop, you stretch it, you could see the fur stretching.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then we patch that. And
God, I mean, even that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
there's a lot. It was
of
like
work.
it was like I think 10 or 12 months of visual effects, and for the last like 4 or 5 months we moved to London. Me and my friend Eric was in Brennan, who I talked about, who had the same bands as me.
Oh yeah.
And my producer Vince. 3 of us moved to London.
Crazy.
And
We ran into you on the Four Star trip.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was so fun because we were like, that movie just took so long. It took like 5 years between writing it, like 2 years of writing it and getting it made, and and so like 5 years. But towards the end, like I was like so stir crazy, and we were in this post-production facility in London in like dark room looking at looking at like we had 1,500 shots and going through them frame by frame, and like, oh, there his eyebrows, he looks confused, not scared, or whatever it was, and like bring the eyebrows, maybe he needs a little wrinkle here to show confusion, and whatever it was. And so I was going crazy, and then these guys were on the 4-star trip, and we
you came and met us in Berlin too.
Because then they left. So I skated with them in London, and I was like, it was so fun. It was like, and Mark was over there, and
sick.
Rick Howard, Mark Gonzalez, and probably Brian Anderson, Costin,
pretty much everyone.
The whole 4-star team. Max.
Must have been a good little release. Of,
and then I was like,
and
they went to Germany. I was like, I want to go to Germany. So then I just got on a plane and I took a 3-day weekend.
God, it sounds grueling. I mean, just the eyebrows and the thing, and wow, it's great. Do you ever watch one of your films back and be like, oops, kind of messed up right there? Like, didn't I, like, the continuity wasn't really, do you ever, like, find little things?
Like Keenan climbing out of the shoe?
Yeah.
What was wrong with that one?
He gets stepped down, I think, with the left foot, and he climbs out of the right foot.
Oh, really?
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Spike.
Amateur.
Yeah.
Amateur.
No, but do you ever find any little things? Or do you not even watch the film?
I never watched them, actually. I never go back and watch them because I don't know, they kind of like, I watch them so much as we're editing, and like, the last time I've seen any of them is like on the mixing stage. It's the final. The color's done. You're in the mix.
Right.
You watch it back and you're like, okay, I think we're done. We made what we wanted to make. And so like, I never watch them again because I don't know. I don't.
Gotta move on.
Yeah, they're like I had a relationship with them, and it was amazing. And
you're on to the next one.
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because like when I edit this show, and first of all, we live the interview, we live the conversation, and then I get it in and I edit it, and then it's on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. But recently I've been going back and like riding my bike and listening to our episodes, and I'm like, this is really good.
It is really
this
good.
This is good. Like like I said, we just kind of go through them, and like, at the time, we're like, dude, that was great. Like, Spike was here. This was great. And then now I'm just like, I'm listening back. I'm like, these are really if I wasn't involved in this, like, I would be super hyped to listen to these stories and stuff.
Yeah. You don't even mind listening to your own voice?
No.
He loves
way
it.
past
I guess you have to. It also seems like you've become, like, the machine, like, you've become a better interviewer. The machine has become better.
Yeah.
Like, How did you what was the process like in terms of the evolution? Like how did you guys talk about this works, this doesn't work as you're going through?
Nothing really.
There's been no conversation about how to evolve it. It's just
well, there's certain little things where we're like, okay guys, we're talking over each other a lot. Like the guest is talking, we're talking over. I mean, it still happens because it's a conversation. Right?
When I approached Chris to do this, it was kind of like I knew this is the dude.
Yeah.
First, I'm like, I didn't even want to be sitting here.
Yeah.
You know?
He didn't want. Yeah.
I was trying to pull Kelly in the entire time.
Well, I told Roger, I'm like, I'm not doing some one-on-one Barbara Walters skate interview. No, that's not the way that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
No,
I need
it's way.
somebody. Yeah. But everything's just been natural, and like the Kelly coming on, and I mean, it's just there's not much.
So you're Howard. He's Robin.
He's kind of like
Frank.
Baba
Booey,
Fred. I mean, Fred.
Fred.
He's kind of like the Robin, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's true. But he has a button. Robin.
Right.
Does Robin have a button?
Well, the whole idea was for Baba Booey.
Yeah,
you know, but he talks more than Baba Booey would. So.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wanted me like the other room too.
Yeah. Right.
We're gonna glass that off one day.
Yeah. No, but it's just funny how like, you know, when you're doing a project and then you kind of take a step back and you kind of look at it from the outside in again, you know, you're like, oh wow, this is really, we're doing something cool. This is really good. Not even killing it, but just enjoying it, you know?
Yeah, for me on the movies, there's a point where I lock picture and there's the screening, because the editing, even before you get to the mix, you're editing for like usually a year. Most of my movies we edit for a year.
Damn.
And they become like, there's like 25 versions of the movie, and that, you know, they change a lot. You know, we rewrite dialogue, re-record voiceover, we shoot a couple new scenes, so by the time like there's the last screening and you're screening, sometimes you screen it with like 40 or 50 people always. You're just like getting friends of friends that aren't going to write about it on the internet. Like, you know, my producers, you know,
people sign NDAs.
You watch it and some screenings go, you know, it's like it's working. Some screenings are terrible and like you just want to like quit being a director and like,
they're like, oh.
Yeah. But like it's always nice because like the last screening, I'm like, I feel like, okay, we're ready to lock picture. And this is, I got it as close as I'm going to get it to where I was, what was in my heart before I started. And
how often do you like doing pickup shots, like right towards the end of like almost locking it?
We usually do like 3 days of shooting, write new scenes right towards the end. But occasionally, I got, you know what, on an adaptation, we kept shooting little pickup ones because it was such a sprawling, like the movie has so many different ideas and storylines. And so on that one...
That's the one with the car crash, right?
Yeah.
God, that wasn't early.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Man, Spike Jonze, bro. It's crazy.
I don't know what else.
Let me call me, man, if you need any help, bro.
I will.
You know? No, but I'm a huge fan, and like, man, it's been amazing. So I'd love all the insider info, you know, especially with skateboarding, but especially with movie stuff too, because it's like very interesting on how these things get done.
Well, it's wild that he has all, I mean, you did video days and you have all these skate videos and they're making Academy Award movies. Like having the inside to all that, I never would have thought anyone I wouldn't even know would have that.
What about Jason Lee? You want to ever work with Jason Lee?
I do.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Yeah. Do we, should we wrap this up? Or we...
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I could talk all day with you guys.
No, it's fun. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's super fun.
This is so fun.
How do you wrap these up? I
usually just say goodbye.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, and then...
we gotta give him some nightclub
you want
gear.
some
Oh, wait,
nightclub?
I brought you shit.
Oh, you brought us?
I know the program.
Oh, you brought us some gifts.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the cameras aren't rolling, but yeah, I listen to all the Nine Club podcasts, so I know everybody.
Not everybody brings us gifts.
No, but it's become a thing.
It is.
Like, if you don't... although nobody's going to outdo Mark's gift. That is...
Mark and Bragg.
Mark and the neon sign.
Who did that one?
Eric Bragg.
Oh, okay, that's a classic. But
that's
like another level of gift. Like on repeat for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, it's also an iPad. He gave him an iPad.
I know.
That's crazy.
In a museum frame.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Oh wow, he's got a bunch of stuff. He's got a box.
I brought swag, which is this stuff is just stuff. The other stuff is better. But I'll build up to the better stuff.
Oh, build up to the sweat. Yeah.
Yeah. I brought a couple DVDs of movies.
Oh,
I brought
look at that.
Iceland
It's
stuff.
Oh, stickers, rolling papers.
Stickers and rolling paper.
Okay.
Your herb grinder for whoever smokes weed.
Oh, a grinder.
And,
okay.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of Viceland stuff.
I like this little swag, bag.
Sick. Thank you.
Are you trying to schmooze us into maybe having the show on Viceland or something?
Yeah, you should. No, somebody said you were coming to meet with somebody at the channel.
I don't know anybody down there.
We'll walk
Really?
up,
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an office next door.
Walk away. Okay, well, in the new year, you got to come down and see if there's
No,
something
what are you putting everything back in the box?
Well,
What are you doing?
That's that.
Okay.
That's
look,
just
this
stuff.
is.
This is that play I did called Changers.
Raj, you could go to Ear One and
go to
take
Ear
stuff
One.
to go.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
And I meant I wanted to bring more photos, but I
this.
this was I only had a week to pull some photos.
Oh no.
So I brought some photos. Should we do skins game where you have to guess who the photos of?
Oh,
That'd be
yeah,
fun.
let's do that.
Do you
please.
okay. You got to give us a hint though. What era?
I think they're mostly old, actually.
What is old though? I mean, we're
Like, old
talking
is-
about
I'm
BMX.
old.
Are these BMX photos or what are we?
Is there a
Okay,
Jeremy
why don't
Klein
I
photo?
say one of the first pro skaters I shot.
Just pull it down. Yeah. There you go.
There's a photo of him, and he's doing a backside tail slide at night with a and it's just long exposure with multi-strobe.
Jason Lee,
No,
Guy Mariano.
Rudy Johnson.
no, but this is before those guys. They weren't pro yet when I shot this photo.
And they're pro now.
1989.
They're still pro or no?
I don't think so.
No.
89 back tail.
Ollie back tail on
Is it a white bench?
a back. No,
Sean Chevy.
It's not Jeremy Klein.
there is one of Jeremy Klein though.
Yes.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
Is it the kickflip grab?
yeah,
Yes.
No way.
yeah.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Here, go. I'll just
These
take
like
this off.
okay. This guy is like one of the originators of street skating.
This is all done with
Oh,
a
yeah.
flash, right?
Yeah, that's a long exposure.
Oh, that's a
Not us?
wait.
It's
That's
Jeremy Klein.
Yes.
Not us.
Yeah.
but wait. That's individual shots,
Yeah, so
right?
it's like a 2-second exposure. I leave the shutter open, then pop the flash 7 times or whatever.
Oh, interesting. That is
Yeah, this is the one in
amazing.
Nodis was the same multi-strobe
Wow, sick.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
No way.
That is awesome, dude.
Wow, look at that on the bottom stair.
We need Nodis on the show.
Dude, for
one. Yes, he lives so close
I
too.
know.
sure.
know.
Super close.
Okay, let's see.
That's
How do I
pretty
give a clue
amazing.
for this? This is a photo of. It was an ad, and there's 2 guys sitting in chairs in a living room.
Is it Jason Lee and Gons?
Yes.
I was gonna say that. You know?
waited too long. Yeah,
I
this was
know.
the first blind ad.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
No way.
That's so sick.
Now, are you just when this photo? Did you just? I mean, it
You're just
doesn't
hanging
look.
out?
Yeah.
No, this was Mark. I think it was Mark's idea. He wanted them at home for their first ad.
Oh, wow.
And so I just was over there and shot a roll of film and then
Look at that. That's
down at Hunter
amazing.
Beach?
Yeah,
Is that a BB gun or a real gun?
BB gun
Yeah.
or pellet gun.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
What do we got here? What do we got next?
This was a really random group of photos because like I could have done better, but anyways, but these were just so 2 friends that skated together.
Stevie and Josh Kalis.
They've always had the same sponsors.
Rick and Mike.
No, they didn't always have the same sponsors.
Oh.
They've
Yeah.
they were on 3 different teams over 20 years.
Whoa.
Heath and Steve.
Friends
Come on, they were on the same. They're friends
on the same team.
on the same. They had their same first sponsor. They left that to the second team.
Javante.
Guy and Rudy.
Yeah,
Oh.
Who?
Guy and Rudy.
Guy and Rudy.
Oh.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You're right.
Look
With
at
the
that.
Powell to.
But there's just these 2. They're
Oh,
not
yeah.
even great photos. It was more like the day was really special. It was like we were all
Oh, sick.
skating
Wow.
around
Oh, there's
Hollywood.
Chico
and-
too. Is that Chico?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like the
sick.
first year or 2.
I love that his shoelaces are untied.
I love that.
So
That's so Guy right there.
dope.
Where is that?
Somewhere over in Hollywood, like kind of like East Hollywood.
Rudy right there. I mean, that's an epic. Did this come out? Did this guy photo come out in anything?
Damn. They're all rocking
I don't know.
the Vans.
I'm not sure. Yeah, they are.
Wow.
And then this was just from the same session of Guy and Rick.
Oh, sick.
Wow.
Babies.
That's
Just
crazy.
babies.
No way.
That is so tight.
Rick
dude.
kind of looks like Mesa right there.
A little bit, huh? A little bit.
And then
More. He's got more stuff. Spike.
one other photo. It was a cover of somebody we've talked about quite a lot today.
Cover of somebody we talked about a few times today. Jason Lee.
Nope.
Why did you pause
Mike
right
Carroll?
there? What is
Rick Howard.
To be more dramatic, yeah, Rick Howard.
Okay, Rick Howard.
Do you want to guess what cover?
How about the one right behind you?
I didn't shoot that.
Oh, you didn't shoot that.
That was
one.
Cossack.
Well, wasn't there also the photo of him in the World Park?
Yep. Yeah. That was based on
all painted
our
red?
photo. Yeah.
You didn't shoot that one, or
I shot the red one.
Oh, you
That's
shot
what
the red
this
one.
is, Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
perfect.
Trick over the hip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
What?
Holy shit.
Grab that side.
Go ahead, Roger. You got to get that fucking coffee out of here. Got fucking things everywhere.
This is so amazing.
No way. Wow. I mean, I wish we could hold this up, but people they can see it. They can see it in the wide shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so rad.
Yeah, it was fun. We painted that whole corner of the park red and painted him red.
That is so sick.
9 Club.
That is
Wow.
tight.
This
Thank
is
you.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Sure.
But wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I meant to find more, but
It's amazing.
No, I mean, we got to.
Thank you so much.
They're
I mean,
random.
I'm really hyped on the herb grinder.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. What size shirt do you wear? Large?
Medium.
Oh, medium.
Yeah.
Okay. Hats or beanies or both? What do you do?
A beanie. I think.
Beanie?
Yeah.
Okay. Gray beanie.
And a mug.
An Appleyard
Definitely
mug.
a coffee mug.
How many cups of coffee you drink in the morning?
I don't drink coffee.
No?
Uh-uh.
What do you drink?
I take naps.
Oh, really? Look at it. Well, the Appleyard mug. This is the famous
Oh,
drawing.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you, Kelly, by the way.
Whoa.
course.
Classic.
Yeah.
And who drew that? Oh, Appleyard.
Yeah.
Mark Appleyard, yeah.
That's a
actually right above you.
That's a portrait of me and Raj.
Yeah. That's sick.
I told him not to quit his day job, but he's better at skateboarding.
Nice. Thank you.
And a beanie and a shirt, dude.
Dude,
And
I'm
a club shirt.
proper. I'm 9 Club alumni official now.
Official.
Official.
Thanks,
You're the first
guys.
one of the year,
Alumni.
too.
Yeah.
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 Happy New
Let's
Year's.
start-
Happy
Yeah,
New Year,
Happy New
everybody.
Year.
I forgot to say.
2018.
Yeah. I mean, man, 2018, Spike.
Yep.
Where is the time going?
I
It's
don't
the year of Chris
Crazy.
Roberts.
It's a year I retire, bro. This is too much already, dude.
Too much.
No, but Spike, thank you
Yes, sir.
so
Thank
much
you. That
for
was
coming
so
by.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I believe that was 4 hours.
4
That's
hours.
crazy.
Flew by.
Hey, but
That's
you know,
crazy.
dude, come back anytime, dude.
I
Because
will.
we probably missed a lot of stories. Seriously, we
Just come
probably
hang
missed.
out.
We probably missed
All right,
a
yeah, I'll
lot.
just come hang out. When you guys film Rick, I'll come sit with Kelly.
How often do you come to
Yeah,
the
please.
Vice office?
I haven't been there in a while, but I go there regularly. It's
Right.
just been a few months since I was there for last, though.
We have ideas too, Spike. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like we could
no,
always
seriously, you guys
know
could come meet our development people.
Yeah.
and I'll set that up in the new year.
better than what
Maybe.
Mesa says. He
I
just
know.
wants to go to lunch. He doesn't even invite us in the building.
Yeah.
You know.
May's like, I don't know anyone over there.
I don't know. This is the best.
No, but seriously, Spike, thank you so much again for cruising by. This has been amazing,
Thank
dude.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Dun, dun,
Spike
dun,
Jonze.
dun.
Oh, cue the music.
Yeah, I can hear it in my head.
could
I
hear
can
it?
hear it. It's
Yeah.
already going.
You can play the piano, right?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun.